welcome to the weekly Wednesday ColtsFanCole show. I am your host, ColtsFanCole, and today we're talking not one, not two, but three new coaches added to the staff. Jim Irsay's update, correcting some Colts history, have some legends chime in, and an entire Pro Bowl recap. Just kidding, but we'll talk about Gardner dicing him up a little bit and his future potentially with the team. But first, I am presented by Rose Ink. Go get your fine line tattoos starting at just $120. She's located in Lebanon, Indiana, just a half hour northwest of Indianapolis. That is Rose Ink Official. Go get your fine line tattoos starting at just $100. You can get a horseshoe year round for $50, and check out her Instagram page for her permanent makeup. It is Rose Ink PMU on Instagram, Rose Ink Permanent Makeup. You can also get gift cards for loved ones, eyeliner, eyebrows, and everything in between. You can also put in Anita B. Beauty still in the Google machine, and her website will pop up, but that is Rose Ink Official now on Instagram to see all of her tattoo work, and Rose Ink PMU for her permanent makeup. So we get to the coaching hires, so some long-awaited names, long-awaited because it's been, 2 weeks since we've had some real relevant Colts news. I'll go in most recent order, most recent hire first. The first guy we brought in is Justin Hamilton. So he is a Virginia Tech grad, drafted in the 7th round in 2006, played for Cleveland and Washington a little bit, spent most of his collegiate coaching career in Virginia, all of his collegiate coaching career in Virginia, with Virginia Wise, defensive coordinator, VMI, linebackers coach, and then went to Virginia Tech, his alma mater, since 2018 to 2021. Tennessee Titans, defensive quality control coach in 2023, and now he's the assistant defensive backs coach. So a promotion after 1 year in the league. Seems to be good young coach. Obviously, these assistant safeties coaches, not a lot of track record on them with how they've developed guys, but I don't, know the ins and outs of Virginia Tech, but good track record of constant promotions, and it's always nice to see someone coach the DBs who's had experience in the league, especially as recently as a little over a decade ago now. So welcome Justin Hamilton, safeties coach from the Tennessee Titans. We also added a former Colt. So everybody loves, hates when we keep bringing in these former Colts to coach the skill positions. Obviously, Reggie Wayne, Cato June, Robert Mathis, Jeff Saturday. Why are you hiring another Colts coach? It counts. It counts because Alex Tanney, the new offensive assistant for the Colts, served as the quarterbacks coach for the Eagles the past few years and was a quality control offensive mind in that room too. Alex Tanney was a Colt. 1 month in 2015. It took me 20 minutes in the Colts picture archives. Had to find it through a 2015 practice prep, and I think what would have been a week 4. So on September 30th was his only 2 pictures in a Colts uniform, and damn it, I found it. So go check out that tweet. Welcome Alex Tanney to the Colts. Welcome back, Alex Tanney, to the Colts after that 1 month practice squad stint in 2015. So, but hey, on a serious note, pairing offensive-minded guys who had success with the Eagles Super Bowl run, I'm all about it. People can say, well, Jalen Hurts regressed this year. Well, Shane Steichen had a big part in that offense. Like, we know Sirianni. A lot of us don't like Sirianni, myself included. They kind of fall apart when they don't have the strategic offensive mind that is Shane Steichen. So bring in who he feels comfortable with. Look, there's no pressure on Alex Tanney. Unfortunately for him, he takes a step back from the quarterback coach back to an offensive specialist, but that's life in the NFL. I'm sure he'll rebound, and I'm sure, if Jim Bob gets poached in a few years when AR's tearing up the league, and then we promote Cam Turner, our quarterbacks coach, then Alex Tanney has a spot up for success going forward. So, good to have offensive minds your head coach is comfortable with and had success with in the past. So shout out to Alex Tanney. Glad to have him. Before we get to this last coach that was hired, just a reminder, I go from 8:30 to 8:50. That's my monologue. And then one-on-one start at 8:50. So you can go ahead and hit that request button if you would like a one-on-one. And then after everybody gets a one-on-one, we go into group discussion for as long as it takes to sort out every issue for the Indianapolis Colts that we can solve. But 12 more minutes here before we get to one-on-ones. Feel free to hit that request button if you'd like to talk. And that brings us to the last coach and the most important. It's the defensive line coach, Charlie Partridge. So he was a pretty renowned and wanted guy out of Pitt, their defensive line coach, defensive coordinator for years over there. So a lot of teams tried to get him to make the jump to the NFL in these past few seasons. So his pedigree, played at Iowa State, played at Drake, I believe, and grad assistant there. Spent a few years as grad assistant, Iowa State, Drake, Eastern Illinois was the D-line coach, and then has been at Pitt since 2003. Briefly took a Wisconsin defensive line job in 2008, and then was with Wisconsin until 2012. Arkansas, Florida Atlantic head coach for 3 years, and then back to Pitt since 2017 up until just a few days ago when the Indianapolis Colts hired him as defensive line coach. So per Destin Adams, the most notable players coached by Partridge are J.J. Watt at Wisconsin, Trey Flowers at Arkansas, Wise Jr. at Arkansas, Trey Hendrickson at FAU. How about that? Jalen Twalman and Cansey from Pitt these past few years, 2 years ago now. So I was reading a little bit of Zach Hicks's article on him. So it seems like he's able to generate some front four pressure, again, at a collegiate level, but may be able to make the rotations a little better, just fine tune some tricks of the trade to get our defensive line to the next level. Obviously, that doesn't mean, any implication in the draft. Now go get him help. Go get him a hand in the ground, third down rusher. But more exotic blitzes that they ran at Pitt, maybe that'll help with Gus Bradley's comfort level and calling some of those blitzes, knowing that the defensive line can take care of whatever they need to. And obviously more of a veteran coach than Nate Ollie was. Although, Nate Ollie solid enough production, but a change was needed and a change was made. So welcome, Coach Charlie Partridge. I don't think any other notes on the coach. Well, personal brag. Sorry, I have to say it every time. I'm a diehard fan. Makes me happy every time. Cato June liked my tweet welcoming safe assistant DBs coach Justin Hamilton to the Colts. So how about that? I want Alex Tanney to like my tweet so bad because it was a pain, truly a pain to find a picture of him in a Colts uniform for his month with the team. But he's fairly inactive on Twitter, so he tweeted it last like 10 months ago. So don't expect Alex Tanney to like my tweet, but hey, what are you going to do? Coach Partridge is pretty active on Twitter. Did not like my tweet, but that's okay. He was liking all the former players and stuff. So next topic here, about 9 minutes left, 8 minutes left until we get to one-on-ones. Jim Irsay on the mend. So he tweeted on the mend, grateful for all the messages of love and support. Awesome. Love it more than anything. We speculated on here, past month or so, seems like longer, what the situation is, and we can go back and forth on that. I think if you're really interested, I have a good thread about it, just kind of making some counter arguments, and you can say, hey, Cole, you don't need to be in his personal life that much. What are you doing? You're not a doctor. You don't know this. You don't know that. Look, I'm going to dig into it, especially when it's not very much reported in the local media. They couldn't even get down to, the specifics of saying that he was at the Steelers game in their articles 8 days later. And you can say it doesn't matter. I think public appearances matter for a billionaire owner 8 days after an alleged incident. And again, if we want to talk about it, we can. I assume most people won't. We kind of hashed a lot of that out, and feel free to hash it out on Twitter. Look, but there's some strong opinions there about whether I should or shouldn't be talking about it. And listen, I'm not going to apologize for talking about all Colts issues. So digging in where others won't, and asking questions of local media who are just kind of going along with whatever TMZ tells them, apparently. So tough shit. You could view it as me being totally biased toward Jim Irsay, and you're right. It could blow up in my face if Irsay comes out and says, actually, I did have a relapse. I, hope to go forward and avoid that. But hey, until that happens, you know, public opinion's going to be swayed, is already swayed toward, the person Jim Irsay is nationally. I know local Colts people mostly love Mr. Irsay, and I try and showcase that on a more national level. But anyway, Stephen Holder confirmed too that that was Jim Irsay who tweeted that. So I'm curious if he was the one who liked the Camacho Joe tweet about the family, but we'll probably never know that. But multiple people do have access to Jim Irsay's account, but it was confirmed by Stephen Holder that it was Jim Irsay, in fact, who tweeted that. Quickly on the Pro Bowl, about 6 minutes left. Go ahead and hit that request button if you'd like a one-on-one here in 5 to 6 minutes. Pro Bowl, Big Q, Ryan Kelly snapping to Gardner, DeForest Buckner. So, not gonna lie, I didn't watch any of it. I watched the clip on former Colt Dan Orlowski beating most people in the accuracy competition, and then I watched Gardner Minshew highlights. He went 8 for 8, 2 touchdowns. Yippee! So we can kick off a debate maybe in the one-on-ones group discussion. Should Gardner be resigned after his amazing Pro Bowl performance? I say yes. I want Gardner back. I've wanted Gardner back the whole time if the price is right. But even if it's not or a little high, I think it's good to have that insurance of a such beloved guy in the locker room, and a beloved guy by Anthony Richardson as well. Shane Steichen revved up the crowd at the Pacers game on February 2nd, about 5 days ago now. So just cool to see, the crossovers of coaches going, to different teams and supporting. Love that cross a few blocks support whenever the Pacers tweet about the Colts or the Colts tweet about the Pacers. Gotta love it there. The Colts Indiana Knights jerseys we wore against the Browns, was it? Yes, against the Browns. They earned a dishonorable mention per Fashion NFL's second annual uniform awards. And can't say I disagree. You can call me a hypocrite. I own a Grant Stewart one. I bought my wife a Zaire Franklin one, but I'm just not the biggest fan of the jerseys, and I think a dishonorable mention is fair for the Colts Indiana Knights jerseys. Blast from the past. Malky Kawa was sitting with Chris Ballard at the Senior Bowl, and he tweeted, one of the toughest negotiations this year was with JT and the Colts. Everyone asked, what's your relationship like with the team? This is Chris Ballard and I, 30 minutes after the Senior Bowl practice, just chopping it up, talking life ball, etc. We've become good friends, so how about that? We'll be curious to see if Kawa gets any guys who are taken in the draft, or if he is representing any guys taken in the draft, and what that'll look like going forward. But hey, all water under the bridge. I think we got JT for a good price, and I don't know, gave us something to talk about and vilify as a unifying force. But Kawa, hey, say what you want, the guy got his job done. So funny to see him and Chris Ballard just chopping it up, as he says, after the Senior Bowl. Couple more last news, and then we will get to one-on-ones. Go ahead and hit that request button. Tony Dungy tweeted, Tom Moore is coming back. So Tom Moore, obviously legendary offensive coordinator for the Colts, won us a Super Bowl. He's 85 now, coming back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coaching staff. Tony Dungy tweeted that Tom Moore was his quarterback's coach when he was a freshman at Minnesota 51 years ago. How about that? So shout out Tom Moore. Keep doing what you love. If you find your passion at work, you never work a day in your life, for sure. Couple Colts history corrections or notes, if you will. So kind of a one-off tweet. I don't know. It's the off season. I'm a little bored. I've been liking these PAL analytics, him kind of putting a prompt and me retweeting, who's a forgotten punter, who was your favorite player growing up? And this one he put, what's one coaching decision from sports history you will never forgive? and I put a guy holding a sign that says Colts Caldwell 16-0 matters to us, go Colts. And pretty quickly somebody asked, was that really Caldwell's decision in the comments? And I think within an hour I said no, it was mostly Polian from everything I understand. So about 8-9 hours later, both Robert Mathis and Gerard Powers, former Colts, if you don't know, both replied saying it was definitely not Caldwell's decision. So if there was any outstanding question that it wasn't Bill Polian, there's your answer right there. So they said it nicely, though, not threatening to me. If they would have looked in the comments, they know I would have acknowledged, but I get the prompt was one coaching decision, and that was the perfect sign to go with that, the Coach Caldwell one. Could have been a little more precise or commented on the language, but oh well. 2 minutes here until the one-on-ones. Go ahead and hit that request button. Last note here, and then I'll grab a Colts card and draw it. Last note here. Dan Dockich just doing Dan Dockich things, annoying. I try not to keep going back to the Andrew Luck, but him having a new narrative that I hadn't heard before, that Chris Ballard's softness is a lot of the reason why Andrew Luck retired, and that is just not the case. Everything about Andrew Luck was retirement was really explored in that expose by Wickersham of ESPN. I think it was like December 2022. To me, that answers all the questions about Luck and what his reasoning was for retirement. So, mentally he was just tired of recovering, always kind of felt in an area of playing hurt, physically hurt, and then having to rehab. And his wife, was prepared to leave him if nothing changed. So, who are we to really question a man's character or his family, especially if his wife is asking him to do so. So his decision was to put his would-be wife to be and daughter first going into that 2018 season. He wanted to prove it to himself and then walk away. So it was on his mind all of the 2018 season for sure. All right, 850. Go ahead and hit that request button. Let me draw a Colts card out of the random Colts card bin. Give everybody a second to hit that request button while I riff on the player from the Colts card bin. And we have, oh, this is a beauty. We have a 10 of 10 T.Y. Hilton autographed card, Panini Contenders card. And look at that, who's holding him up after a touchdown. It's Godster Sherilis. So I will put that in the Jumbotron as we get to our first one-on-one requester. I think Nick Lee was first, but thank you to all the requests. We will get to everybody who wants to request and speak on here. So let's go to Nick Lee first. Nick, how's it going? Thanks for coming on. What do you make of any of the coaching hires? If you want to talk free agency, Gardner Minshew tearing it up at the Pro Bowl. Should we break the bank to sign him as QB1? I'm kidding. Jim Irsay news. The floor is yours, Nick Lee. Anything Colts you want to talk about? Thanks for coming back on the show. Nick, go ahead and hit that bottom left unmute button if you are on. We will get to Nick after Brandon. Let's go to Brandon. Nick, I'll leave you on here. We'll try you again after Brandon. Brandon, thanks for coming on. Same prompt. If you want to talk about anything coaching, Gardner Minshew, break the bank for our Pro Bowler who went 8 for 8, 2 touchdowns. Jim Irsay news. The floor is yours. What should we talk about in Colts world? Brandon, thanks for coming on.
Hey man, what's up? Just first off, just glad that he's okay. Regardless of what happened, all the speculation, it shouldn't really be about what happened. More or less that he's alive and he didn't have to go through some month long or years long recovery. It seems like he's kind of getting back on his feet quicker than people anticipated. So it's a blessing for him and Colts fans. I actually got to meet him back in 2013. He was just a great guy. You wouldn't know he was a billionaire unless you knew him, and other than the way he dresses, maybe. I mean, he's just a real down to earth kind of guy. I really respect him and really happy he's good. Then the luck. You kind of touched on the luck thing. Dan Dykich is, in my opinion, just a clown. Like we're coming up on 5 years of of him retiring. Like, yeah, it sucks. It hurt. It was a shock to everybody. I remember when I found out, I thought it was a joke. My cousin was messing with me, but it was real. We've kind of went through this year after year. You know, uh, every off season, we're talking about luck or if he's coming back or anything related to luck. I mean, yeah, I miss him just as much as the next guy. He was one of my favorite players of all time. Uh, but yeah, that bridge has been crossed, and I feel like our future's in Anthony Richardson. I believe in him 100%. I think that we have a real chance to win the South next year, regardless of who we get in the draft. Or everyone does mock drafts, which are kind of fun and they're interesting to say the least. But it's just so hard to tell with all the trades that go on and behind the scenes. We don't know. They could go and get a left tackle for all we know. It's just it doesn't matter. Like we don't have any control of it. So it's just sitting back and watching and sticking with our team. I mean, we all love this team. A lot of us go to the games, lucky enough to go to the games, and just enjoy the culture that Indianapolis is. It's a great city, very underrated city. I mean, I've been to big cities in the United States, and Indy's it's a homey feel. It's very friendly. I love the city. So I just think we have a lot to be looking forward to next year, and I hope we make some noise and punch a ticket to the playoffs and maybe even win a few games or in the big picture is to win the Super Bowl every year regardless. So yeah, just excited, man, for this next year.
Yeah, absolutely, Brandon. And you changed your profile picture, Brandon Stewart, an OG on here. Sorry, I did not introduce you well enough. You were a huge listener in 2022 season, and one of the down years of Ryan. You were an early adopter of the spaces, so can't thank you enough for that. But I'll touch on the luck point you had. Yeah, we all love him. Still good to talk about him. Watch his highlights. Why not? But in terms of the narrative, keep getting brought up year after year of him retiring. It's so exhausting. But the good thing is the saving grace is if Anthony Richardson wins us a few playoff games, it all goes away. Like love luck, like we'll
Yep.
always be grateful for him. But the reason he's brought up year after year is we haven't won a playoff game since luck. So
Right.
2018 seems like 10 years ago at this point,
Yeah.
going through all the quarterbacks. But hey, can love him, can defend him like I, maybe not defend, but I try and reason that he's not like a quitter or anything. Although yeah, I was pissed off too, and when he retired, it's
Right.
it's ridiculous to not be, in my opinion, with the pure shock value of it. But my
Yeah.
my question for you is the follow up. How was meeting Ursay? What was the occasion? And if you don't mind me asking.
So it was when they had training camp up in Anderson. I'm from a little small town in Ohio, but I've lived in both states for half my life each. But it was only like an hour away, so we just would go up there when it was in Anderson every year. And I believe it's 2013, and it was the year that he was signing the $100 bills and handing them out. And he was just sitting. He's on his golf cart. He got off. He was saying hey to everybody and answering questions, just talking to people. And I was probably like 12 or 13, but I remember vividly. There's this kid, and he was like, Jim. He's like, I'm in college. I'm in college. I need the money for books. I need the money really bad. And like begging him for the money, and he kind of like was just laughing about it. And then like a few minutes later, after signing and handing them out to everyone around him, he handed one to him signed. Which, if I got a signed $100 bill by Jim Irsay, I'm sorry, I'm not spending that shit. Like I'm putting it in a frame and putting it on my wall.
Hell yeah.
But he signed my ball, so I got a Super Bowl ball signed by him, and it's not going anywhere. Like there's not a price tag on it for me. It was just like a moment you'll never forget.
Absolutely, man. That's awesome. And Yeah, glad
Yeah,
he's back on the mend. That's all
absolutely. That's the biggest thing. Yeah.
for sure. Brandon, any
Yeah.
other topics before we try with Nick Lee again? And please stay around for group discussion if you're able to.
Oh yeah, I will. Yeah, usually I'm. I have a 5-year old, so I usually go to bed early, but he's not going to school tomorrow, so I don't got to get up and 7 o'clock and get him on the bus. So yeah, I'll stick around. But yeah, that was just wanted to kind of chime in and say what's going on, and hope everyone's doing well. And go Colts! Can't wait for this next season. It's a light year away, it seems like, but we got the Super Bowl to enjoy, and then preseason will be here before we know it, and training camp, all that. So it's just a waiting game.
Absolutely, yeah. There's always something to talk about. That's why I do these. Love doing them every Wednesday. Obviously the
Yeah.
combine's coming up here in a few weeks. We signed 3 coaches this past week. The week before there was not much going on, and there'll be a lull. After the draft, before training camp,
Oh
we're really
yeah.
shooting the shit in the summer, trying to come up with stuff to talk about. But for now, good portion leading into free agency and the draft for sure. So
Absolutely.
appreciate it, Brandon. Thanks for coming back.
Hey,
A real
yeah.
OG on
Hey.
here.
Hey, thanks, man. You are too. I appreciate all your little tiny details and knowledge that you have of the past players. It's interesting. I love when you kind of just post stuff about anybody who's a former Colt or joins the team. You kind of just know all the information. So it's nice. It's cool.
Thank you very much. That really means a lot. That's
Yeah, man.
I
It's
love doing that.
appreciated. A lot of people are nerds like us, maybe, but
Hey, shout out Alex Tanney, new quarterbacks coach, baby. He was with the Colts a month, but what a beautiful month that was in 2015.
heck yeah, yeah, yep. Hey, it's nice talking to you, man. I'll stick around. I'll talk again in a group discussion.
Sure. Thank you very much, Brandon.
Yeah, man.
The great Brandon Stewart. Let's try Nick Lee again. Hey, Nick, how's it going? Missed you the first time. I think I hear you now. What's up?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I had the phone on me. I didn't realize it was my turn to speak, so I'm wondering why I was silent. But appreciate you bringing me back on. The first thing I wanted to say, I heard the last dude was talking about Indy. I hate to say it, but I recently took a trip to the place where Undisputed probably wishes he would live, Nashville, and man, that's a good time out there. That's all I'll say about it. It's a good time. I like the vibe out there. But also wanted to talk about the new D line coach. I'm hoping this is a sign that our D line, with his expertise and stunting and creating pressure with the D line, I'm hoping that this now is like a switch up to having those guys with this athleticism, these high RAS scores. Like finally, we get to see those flashes. I'm thinking about guys like, I'm about to butcher his name, but the young dude out of TCU that we just got last round that runs a 4.4, hoping to see something out of Quiddy Pay this year with his explosiveness. And then the same with Dial too, just creating pressures inside and outside, using stunts and twists with those guys. I mean, I feel like got a lot of speed off the edge, but it doesn't translate consistently with the guys that we've had. So I'm hoping that this move is a sign of like them starting to get a little bit more creative up front to generate some more pressures.
Yeah, hey, Nashville's a good town. It's a good town to visit though. If you've been, did you go to the stadium? Did you go to Nissan Stadium?
Yeah, I spit on
Yeah,
it for
Nissan
sure. I
sucks
walked
though.
by, spit on it.
It
Yeah, I almost took a shit there, but yeah,
you'd probably
it
fall
was
in.
broad
Yeah,
daylight.
it's
Right.
they
Yeah,
definitely
it
need a new
just looked
stadium. That's for sure.
right. No, it's Nashville is dope. I like that street where all the bars are, and then walking down, you can kind of see you see Nissan Stadium, ugly ass
Hmm.
stadium. Hated it, but yeah, Nashville itself is fun. I had a good time out there. But yeah,
A
the
pain,
food is amazing.
yeah, pain to get to. Like, did you have to go up and do the walk after literally parking in like a random $20 lot that was like a mile away? That was my
No, so
experience.
I Yeah, so I got there on a Friday. So I just
Okay.
got we were just walking around and crossed the bridge to get over there just to kind of walk around a little bit, look at how ugly it is. They definitely need a new stadium. That shit looks like it was great, fall apart.
For sure. Yeah, and great points about the new D line coach. If you haven't read it, Zach Hicks had a great write up about the new D line coach and how exotic the blitzing could get. So he had I think his most interesting paragraph in here was the main reason why the Colts hired Partridge was for his experience in working with defensive linemen. But he believes the auxiliary reason for the hire was to add more diversity and depth to their 6-man pressure package. So what that means is, the blitzing percentage that he ran at Pitt is one of the highest, in the country in college football. And, yes, it's not going to be changing Gus Bradley overnight in terms of blitz schemes, but having a guy who you can trust that will have his guys, the right personnel with the right calls on the blitz in the game, I think is a big reason why we poached him from college. Again, supposedly beating out a few other NFL teams for his services. So I'm with you there. I think it's exciting. His pedigree and kind of making these unknowns like a J.J. Watt, like a Trey Hendrickson, become perennial Pro Bowlers. It's a big deal, I think, to get a D-line coach. But you got to help him. You got to help him for sure. I'm not saying that this is just going to fix everything. I think you again, whether it be free agency, the draft, and I'm going to be a broken record until free agency and the draft come and go, but hopefully I can break the record after the free agency and draft, because if we still have holes in the roster, I'm going to be a little shitty going into training camp, since this is kind of an all-in year. But to me, what takes this defensive line to the next level, yes, the coach is great. Yes, the blitzing would be great. A hand in the ground defensive end who can get to the passer. And whether you draft him, whether you sign like a Daniil Hunter, that kind of guy who's a third down, get to the quarterback specialist, that to me is really the missing piece. Like a Yannick Ngakoue, but like, times like 10. Like we need to go get that guy. You have all the other resources. Great at stopping the run if we keep Grover Stewart. Obviously, Buckner's really good at it. Quiddy's solid at the run, and then Dio is more of the pass rusher type. But having a Dio and a pure third down pass rusher on the edge, while you have Grover and Buck in the middle to stop whatever comes up the gut. I think we're in a great spot going forward. Anything else, Nick Lee? Thanks for coming back on the show.
Just some petty stuff, but I'll hang on to that for a little bit later. I'm not gonna start no drama. Just trying to be funny, but I'll wait till later.
Hey, floor's yours. We have nobody in the queue. I was just gonna spitball more on the D line coach. What's up?
Oh, okay. Well, Cold Toss, why you block me, bro?
Oh,
Thought we was cool, man.
there it is.
No, it's all good. I'm not sure who that is, but yeah, I wonder why I was blocked, but it's all good.
Yeah, it happens, man. I don't. I
Yeah.
sat again too. It's it depends. People could be in a mood, and I don't know all the specifics of who's who, and I get kind of blasted on here like you let this person on. He was did this, and I was like, fuck, dude. Like everybody who has a, no offense, Colts profile picture, a lot of them blend together. Like to me, like unless you come on the show often, or you tweet at me often, or you hate me, it's hard to differentiate. But funny story, there was a guy who sat in front. Go ahead and hit that request button. No one is in the queue. We need a speaker after the great Nick Lee. But there was a guy in front of me, a few rows for my season tickets. He had season tickets as well, and I think we were on a space, and I was like, "Oh, I think I've seen you, Craig." And he's like, "You have?" I'm like, "Yeah, you sit in front of me at the games, da da da." And then I looked to follow him because I'm like, oh yeah, like we can chit. And he had me blocked, and I was like, what the hell happened? And hey, Twitter sometimes, it's a zero sum game. There's reasons to block for sure. Not me personally. I don't block anybody. I just have 5 mutes under my belt of people I just find insufferably annoying. No, undisputed, you're not one of them. But 5 mutes out there, no blocks. So, but Craig graciously followed me back, and I've hopefully not disappointed him to hit that block button going forward. So, but yeah, use it at your discretion. I'm not going to tell people how to use it or not. Anything else, Nick?
I'm all good, bro. Thank you.
Absolutely. And here we go. Here's Colts House. Hopefully we keep it tame on here. Colts House. What's up? You gonna unblock Nick Lee, or you find him insufferable, or can we just forget about it all and
He's absolutely insufferable.
Okay.
Oh my God, Nick Lee? Are you kidding? No, I don't even know who the fuck he is or why I blocked him.
There it is.
I
That's what
unblocked him.
happens
It's all
most of the
good,
time.
dude. He probably pissed me off at some point, but no, I don't even remember it or him, so he's all good.
Cool, Colts house. What do you make of the D line signing, D line coach signing? Any of the coaches kind of pique your interest? Obviously, Alex Tanney coming back, the young coach from Virginia Tech. Obviously, spent a year with the Titans. Any of that tickle your fancy, or we can pivot to Gardner Minshew too.
Man, I love it. I'm just hoping that Gus Bradley's design and scheme allows specifically EJ Speed to fucking pressure more and blitz more because I mean his name implies it, but the man is like a heat-seeking missile when it comes to a quarterback. Every time Gus let him blitz, you see an EJ Speed flying at the quarterback. I want to see more of that shit.
Yeah, yeah. It's all about creating pressure and we're hoping that this D line signing, whatever shortcomings Coach Ali had, again, thank him for his time being a Colts D line coach, but whatever issue there was with not trusting the line to blitz or hesitancy that we couldn't get the right personnel into blitz or having the right personnel period to trust to be able to blitz. And it does go back to the DBs too. Hopefully, the new DBs coach, assistant DBs coach, coaches up some of these young guys, puts them in the right spot. But two, if you're not going to blitz if you don't trust your corners. Like Juju Brents was out, most of the first quarter of the season. So was Flowers. Unfortunately got hurt right at the beginning of the season too. And it's like,
But you notice how bad our defense was without Grover or Brents, and the difference when they came back, how good we were.
yeah, true.
I don't know, but my thing is, are we? I know everybody's hyped on getting a corner. Is another rookie corner gonna be more of an improvement than Jones?
No,
I know I almost don't want to say it's going to be in year one. It could be in year two or year three when his ceiling surpasses Jones, but I don't know if you get a guy right now unless you get maybe Hole or Sneed.
yeah, yeah. I need a veteran corner signing. Again, my priority wish list is veteran.
I'm just thinking that's it's the problem is they're both round one guys are the only ones that I could see being better than Jones. Terry and Arnold could be. Nate Wiggins could be. The other guys I don't see it. I just don't, man. I don't think a round two, a round three, four corner is going to be better than Chris or Taylor Jones.
Yeah, it could very well be the case, especially with the experience, like you said. It does take time to develop corners, as we've seen, in Rock Yassin. Obviously Quincy Wilson never got there, and they were our two second round guys. I I need a veteran corner. To me, this offseason, I am very pissed off going into the draft. If we do not have a veteran corner, I want to break the bank for one. I want to sign the Bears guy. I want to sign Sneed from the Chiefs. Again, who knows if they're going to
See,
be
why
available
didn't
or not.
Colts fan Cole gamble for Isaiah Rodgers when we really needed him to, so we could keep our boy on the
Hey,
team?
if he would have hit me up, I would have kept my mouth shut. I would have used encrypted messaging, man. As long as he didn't bet against the Colts, then I'd rat him out. But everything pointed to, he just had an ESPN segment too. I forgot to mention this. Indy Star had a write up about it, and he won his $1,000 on a Jonathan Taylor over bet, and he just would place like a few $1,000s worth of like $25 to $50 bets. And I'm not saying it's inexcusable. He, apologized, said he knew it was bad, but like, it
Did
was
he bet on the
infuriating that it was
Minnesota
it was
game?
just a few $1,000s. Like, and now he's with the Eagles, and who knows how good he'll be.
Did he bet on that Minnesota game?
I don't know. I hope not. But it sounded like the only bets he made were pro Colts, JT, and some parlays from what the ESPN.
What's wrong with that?
Well, NFL. Like if you know that Jonathan Taylor, the game plan. You're sitting in the rooms. You're part of the team meetings. Hey, we're running run heavy scheme offensively this game. Like
I know
we
it
think
brings
JT.
distrust, but why did it have to be blown up? They could have just been like, "All right, man, you owe money back." Blah blah blah. Let the shit. That's one you do sweep under the rug. I think.
Yeah, it's one of those integrity of the league things, and yeah, you can call them hypocrites with all the gambling stuff, but All the players that I've seen talk about it after, they're very well informed that there's a hard stop. You cannot gamble on the NFL when you play in the NFL, and you can't gamble on team premise. Period. But anyway, thanks for coming on, Colts House. Any final thoughts before we get some other one-on-one requesters?
No, I'm just ready for the group chat.
Cool. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you, Colts House. Please stick around for group, as you said. I'll remove you as speaker and call for re-requests after all one-on-ones are over. Let's get to Parlay Joe. Check out Parlay Joe's Twitter Spaces. He does great college football content too. In the writing game too, does some good write-ups on all different sorts of topics. But Parlay Joe, welcome back. Formerly Inside the Shoe, if you're an OG like Parlay Joe. What's up, man? What do you make of the coaching hires? Are you breaking the bank for Gardner? The floor is yours, Parlay Joe. What's up, man?
Breaking the bank for Gardner? Hell no. The coaching hires. I saw the D line coach. That's a hell of a hire. He's like the best D line coach in the college ranks, pretty much. I mean, he has one of the best D linemen in the draft almost every year. But I'm looking at. I know you guys are talking about corners. Kyrie Jackson, man, we really got to look at him. He's 6'3". He transferred from Bama to Oregon. I mean, he's a stud, bro. 195. Somebody to look at. He's long. He's the type of corner that Gus Bradley goes for.
Yeah. What round did you say again for him, or
Oh,
is he
I didn't
projected
say.
at all?
You get him in like the third round or something like that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I just think you have to shore up corner immediately. I think it burned us too much this season to just kind of let it.
I mean, I would love to go get. You said Snead and the Bears. I like the Bears corner, but I just don't think Ballard's gonna do it, bro.
I just
I'm not putting any faith in him going to get a free agent, bro. At least I'm tired of doing it.
Yeah, I think it's an all-in year though. That's the thing I keep coming back to. I'm gonna look like an idiot in a few months if he does nothing, stays at 15. Bowers is gone, Verse is gone, all the guys we want at 15 are gone, and we end
Hey, I'm
up.
telling you, we don't need Verse. She don't fit our system. Brock will probably be gone. Like
Hmm.
Latu, that guy.
Oregon
Yeah,
guy,
bro. Nah, UCLA.
UCLA. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, bro. He's filled, bro, and he fits our system. He runs that, so he's good, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be a good one. But yeah, I
He's big too. He's 265, like 6'5" or something like that. He's big dude. 6'3" maybe 6'3", I think.
yeah, if he's a sack artist again, I'm not a college football big stan. I mean, I watch Indiana college football, so is it really college football? We'll be back. I love Signetti, love the new hire, but
And we got the 2019 Indiana at Alabama now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. How about that? That's a wild rise from Fresno State OC to Alabama head coach in like what
Dude,
4 years?
Sioux Falls, bro.
Wild,
Sioux Falls.
wild. But yeah, I'll be upset and I'll look like an idiot if we stay at 15.
Oh yeah, he's 6'5", bro. He
Yeah,
big.
take him. Screw it. Like as long as he's a hand in the ground, get to the passing rusher. If we don't address any other parts of the corner, defensive end, or wide receiver in free agency, then take whoever you want. But I'll be upset and look like an idiot if none of those things happen. We don't address free agency, we sign within our own, and then we don't do anything and have $20
Oh, we
million
better
dollars of
sign
cap room.
Grove back.
Yeah,
And we gotta sign Pittman back. That's the only two I really care
Pittman's for
about.
sure. Like we're gonna tag him if not. Like I've never been more sure that Pittman's gonna come back.
I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I think we can let Kenny Moore walk. But I mean, I know that's unpopular. But
Yeah, he was ranked again. Who ranks the rankers, as Dan Dockich says? But he was ranked, I think, the 31st best free agent available going into the offseason, and Pitt was, I think, 7, something like that.
yeah, bro, look, that's so low. 31. He gonna be there in like week 5 and he's gonna get a low deal from Ballard.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
There's a lot of free agents though.
But
I think 31's not too
I don't
bad.
want to pay him a lot. I don't want to pay him a lot. That's what I'm saying, honestly.
Sure. Any last thoughts, Parlay Joe, and we'll get to some more requesters and then shoot for group discussion after that.
No, we good.
Thank you very much, Parlay Joe. Again, go check out his spaces. He does spaces often. Also a writer for Stadium Rant. Thank you, Parlay Joe. Let's get to the great Jack Rizzo. Just wrapped up his show. Go check out the 12th Horseshoe podcast. I tuned in for a little bit, saw they were previewing the Super Bowl. What's up, Jack Rizzo? Nice to have you back on Twitter. Welcome back after some family time, it sounds like. Good to have you back in the fold. What's up, man?
Yeah, thank you for tuning in today. I really appreciate all the support. Yeah, just kind of getting ready for the Super Bowl. I don't really know what I'm gonna do with it. The Colts aren't in it, so I don't really care who wins, honestly. Um, but yeah, so should be an interesting off season. I can't believe it's already been a month since I last saw the Colts play. I mean, we have like 214 days till the Colts play
Don't
again.
say that.
Yeah, I know. It's what am I going to do for these next 214 days?
Speculate. Talk about the draft.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of the draft, I'm live streaming the draft this year on my on our podcast, so I'm really excited about that.
Cool.
We'll see what the Colts do. I think what do we pick 15th? I think something like that. Yeah, so it should be fun. Hopefully we make some moves in free agency. I'm also really glad that it seems like Jim Irsay is doing a lot better. I was really worried, and we didn't really heard much about him last week, but I'm really happy that he's doing better. I don't know, it's just like a slow time right now of the offseason. There hasn't really been much news. I mean, we've had a couple of coaching hires to our staff. I mean, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. I don't really trust them until Gus Bradley. You probably know that I'm not really that high on Gus Bradley. I think we need to fire him, honestly. But that's just my opinion. But we'll see how the rest of the offseason goes. But yeah, I just don't feel confident with Gus Bradley as my defensive coordinator, honestly.
Sure. Yeah. Again, hopefully the D line coach is more entrusted to, support with personnel for some of these exotic blitzes he had at Pitt. But we'll see if Gus goes that direction. Let's hope. Rizzo, question for you: what are your top needs, and what do you hope to address in free agency before the draft? And in house too, obviously. Pittman, Grover Stewart, and then from there, what direction do you head before the draft?
Well, first off, let me say that we absolutely have to bring Pittman back. I think every Colts fan can agree on that. Without him, I don't even know where the offense. Honestly, if we lose him, I might cry. Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't even know. We need him. He's probably, I don't think enough people realize that he is a number one receiver, and he's played with shitty quarterbacks his whole career. The best quarterback he played with was Phillip Rivers, and ironically, that was his. Well, AR will eventually be the best one. He played with him for 4 games, so that doesn't really count yet. But ironically, Phillip Rivers, who was the best quarterback he played with, was the one he had his worst numbers with. But once AR gets healthy, I think Pittman's really going to pop off, if he hasn't popped off already. And we have to bring back Kenny Moore as well, with how bad our secondary is. Grove as well. Everyone else we can let walk. Blackman's had some injury issues. Everyone else I don't really care for. Minshew will probably go chase some money. Maybe like Denver or Washington or a team that's like needs like a bridge quarterback will give Minshew a nice contract. In terms of needs in free agency, obviously corner. I don't trust any rookie corners. Like I don't think we should take a rookie corner in the first round. Jalen Johnson or L'Jarius Sneed, both of them are freaking amazing. I would love to have either of them. But if you want a true playmaker in the secondary, Antoine Winfield Jr. I don't know if the Bucs are really going to be able to afford to keep him. They have to pay Baker. They still have to pay Mike Evans. They already have a lot of dead cap money. So I would love Winfield on the Colts. He was one of the guys I really wanted when he came out of the draft. And also, I think we need to add another pass catcher for AR, whether it's a receiver or a tight end, because we can't be waiting around on Alec Pierce forever. And Josh Downs is still young, but I don't know. I've seen a lot of mock drafts that have us taking Brock Bowers at 15, and that would be a perfect fit for the Colts because number one, he'd become pretty much AR's favorite red zone weapon, which we really need. Number two, I know a lot of people like our tight room, but let's be honest. Drew Ogletree is probably done with the Colts. Wally Cox is not worth $6 million. We're probably going to cut him anyways. Kylan Granson has one career touchdown, and Will Mallory, I mean, what he's like a fifth round tight end, and Jelani Woods just missed the whole season with an injury. We need to get better in terms of pass catchers, and not only that, but Brock Bowers is also an elite run blocker, so Jonathan Taylor would love him. I mean, he'd pretty much make the whole offense better day one if we were able to get him. So, in terms of biggest needs, definitely corner, a pass catcher, definitely an edge rusher. Like if we don't take Bowers at 15, then probably an edge rusher, either Jared Verse or the guy from UCLA. There's quite a few good edges in the first round, and maybe some O line depth on top of that because our O line is getting older, and sometimes it just takes one injury to screw up the whole O line. So those are the biggest needs. But I mean, to be honest, the biggest need is a defensive coordinator because I simply do not trust Gus Bradley. But yeah.
Yeah, well said. Nobody does tight analysis like the great Jack Rizzo. So if you're not following him, what are you doing? And go check out his 12th Horseshoe podcast. And he'll be at the. Will you be at both of Jets and Giants? We're both away, right? Colts at Jets, Colts at Giants.
I will be at both. I'm probably also going to go to New England this
Ooh.
year. So really excited about that. I might even go out to. We're probably going to go out to Lucas Oil maybe for a game too. So going to be a big year next year for the Colts. I'm frightened for AR being at MetLife twice next year. I mean, it's awesome that I'm going to see him, but oh god, playing on that trash turf. Yeah, I'm honestly a little nervous. I mean, we're still like 7 months away from the start of the season, but I'm already thinking about how brutal that turf is going to be. But yeah, I'm certainly excited. I mean, I've seen the Colts play here 3 times, and they're going to be here twice in the same year. This is the first time, I believe, since 2000, or actually since not yeah, since the year 2000 that the Colts are here for both because obviously the Colts used to be in they used to be in the same division as the Jets. They used to come here every year. So, but yeah, really excited to see them twice. I mean, that's pretty cool, honestly. They'll be here twice again in 2030, so I'll get to see them twice, quite a few times. And yeah, so certainly should be fun. But yeah, I'm certainly nervous about that turf though. But yeah, I hope you make it out to MetLife though. It'd be really cool. But yeah, that's certainly exciting though for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Jack Rizzo. Please stick around for group discussion if you are able. Let's get to Huyen next, and I see Ray Love and Undisputed in the queue. Huyen first, though. Huyen, question for you. Did you see my guy, Football Stubbs, the gift he gave me, that beautiful AS Roma ticket?
What's up,
Yeah, hey,
Cole? Can
what's
you hear
up?
me? We're playing against each other this week.
Oh,
You
I'm,
ready,
I'm ready.
Roma?
I'm ready.
We'll see. Yeah. I came in late.
Let's see, Huyen, I think we're having a little trouble.
Yeah, I got a call that came in. You still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you a little better now, yes.
Yeah, no, I was just saying. I came in late. We able to just quickly on the Ursa. Any updates on him? I heard like his towards his medicals going kind of good. If my reports are right
Yeah,
that I'm
he
reading.
he he fortunately tweeted yesterday on the mend, grateful for all the messages of love and support. And a few hours later, Stephen Holder of ESPN verified that it was in fact Jim Irsay who tweeted that message. So multiple people have access to Irsay's account, but it has been confirmed that Irsay was the one to tweet that. So aside from that, that's kind of all we have. But on the mend, and obviously is the best. News we can hear after so much unknown for seemingly a month now. Actually, definitely a month now. What, the Pittsburgh game? We didn't know what we didn't know though before Christmas, but definitely since the end of the season.
No, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. But yeah, I'm glad that was because I know that was a big news up and nobody heard about it. So I'm glad about that. But just to come in, join in, and it just feels so good. Let's just be grateful that we don't have a season that we're not hunting for a quarterback,
Yeah,
we're not hunting for a coach. Like all the spaces that I've been. Uh, it's been positive and building towards the future, getting back into the postseason, being contenders, and it just feels good to have these type of discussions. Which areas should we address? which players should we go in free agency, which one should those are the kind of ones I just hated that we always were linked with washed quarterbacks like Derek Carr may come in or any or Colts about to give the house for Russell Wilson and God God thank God we didn't do that. But
Yeah.
no, it just feels good. Hopefully, like I think once AR starts throwing and then video starts showing up of him back in training, and starts throwing some balls, the excitement is even gonna go up. I've been watching a couple of AR highlights and just trying to get myself amped up for the return of the young king. But I really do think Ballard, come on, you gotta step up this year. You come on, open them banks up. We got plenty of cash. I think it was a Jack just said it. Like, let's get a veteran slot corner. Let's get uh, a DB. If it's the guy from the Bears, or there's a lot of good DBs coming, just tell him, hey, sign the papers. I would love also to add T. Higgins to this lineup. I think if we can get Michael Pittman locked down and T. Higgins, which I think, you know, AR being on a rookie contract, it might be tight, but I believe we can do that. And then that way, whatever you want to do in the draft at that moment, I really do think two key pieces is wide receiver and is a cornerback. Do you agree with that too, Cole?
Oh yeah, yeah. Corner to me, you have to address in free agency. Wide
100%.
receiver, you can wait a little longer. I'm only saying that because I think corner, defensive end, and then wide receiver is the need. And I would even prefer kind of a gadget running back receiver, Naheem Hines on steroids type of guy. Not exactly sure who that would be. I know some draft analysts will give me all the info I need here in the coming months to who to watch at the combine, but to me, that takes our team to a next level. If we can get a veteran corner, then Gus Bradley can trust to blitz, hopefully with the new D line coach, get a hand in the ground edge rusher, whether it be like a Daniil Hunter in free agency, and then maybe that opens up the first round to take the Brock Bowers. But if we don't sign a defensive end, then we have to draft one. To me, that's our number one need. And I don't care if it's like, oh, you're reaching, everybody says Ballard takes the best available player. That's just not true. Like maybe they
Mhm.
say it like on the board, but he's taken position of need his whole career. Like I don't know where
I
that
agree.
narrative came from. Quincy Wilson, Rock Yassin. Like yeah, we traded down, but we drafted positions of need, which were corner at the time. Anthony Richardson, obviously that was you're not trading down from there, or the fan base would have rioted. Alec Pierce, position of need. Like he drafts position of need in the draft. That whole narrative that he takes best available player. Quiddy Pay, we needed a rusher. Dio, we needed a rusher. We took him back to
I
back.
I agree with you. It's always been like that. We like so many players that have become superstars that everybody saw that, this guy is a top talent, even though in the position. Because sometimes that's what you got to do. Sometimes I think you got to break down needs. There's some needs like we really need this,
Right.
or hey, we may not need like we do need this, but at the same time, if we can upgrade on this pass rushing position, or if we can get another amazing online. It's always good to have world class players at the end of the day, because sometimes when you pick that position of need, that player may not turn out good. Like, let's be honest, Quiddy Pay is not the pass rusher that we thought he was going to be. He's into his fourth year, and nobody is like saying, like, oh, Quiddy Pay is a monster. Yeah, he's putting up, decent numbers here and there, but he is nowhere first round. He's not giving us first round productions if we're being honest. So sometimes in life, that's just how you got to look at it. It's like if this player is a top notch player, regardless if that position is covered at the moment, but if you think that he could possibly be better than the guy you have in there, go ahead and go after it. And I think, and I'm being honest, I think 90% chance Balor's gonna trade down from number 15. It just looks like his move, especially if there's one guy that he's really looking at, rather it's a tight end that everybody telling us we might go after, or rather it's an edge rusher that if that person gets taken, I'm 9 out of 10 times Ballard is trading down. I don't know I don't think he'll trade out of first round, to be honest. I think that's just cutting it. But if he's getting another fourth or fifth to go back, maybe five or six, he's gonna take that. He likes to add on to. I think, to be honest, first and second, you should never trade out of, because that's usually where the top notch, if you're looking at the high percentage of landing a top player is those are the places because usually that's where they end up. Of course, you're gonna have a here and there bust. Nobody's bust proof, but at the same time, I wouldn't. If I'm a GM, I'm never moving out of 1 and 2 unless I am trying to move into it and probably give something up next year if somebody's really there that's top notch that you know 100% sold on. But yeah, I'm scared Ballard's just gonna move back and will he move out too much? We'll see. But I think 15 is a perfect spot uh, to go get somebody really good that can help this team. And bro, how many times do we need a fifth or sixth rounder? We don't really need any more of those guys.
Yeah.
We need game changers.
Yeah, it's all about getting the top end talent now. Like, again, Ballard kind of acknowledged it in the end of year press conference, but it's an all in season. It really is. Like AR, hopefully he proves this year and next year that he gets extended, but he doesn't have to be extended until after his fifth year option. Like we have 3 4 years, hopefully three. Hopefully we give him the big deal because he proves he's our guy going forward, and I have no doubt he will. But before that, like break the bank on these 2 year, 3 year deals that you can get out of in year four, even. Like we gotta go all in. Like rookie quarterback, like teams with a rookie quarterback win super with a rookie deal quarterback win Super Bowls. It's they're in the best shot you can build around the team. Like yeah, I'll probably be proven wrong. Like only these guys did it. Compete to win Super Bowls. Like Burrow, Mahomes. I'm not comparing AR to
Even
that, or even
even
if we want it, but we have to
even
build
the
around him.
49ers. Even the 49ers are able to have all these top weapons because they do have a quarterback who happens to be the least making
Yeah,
quarterback. And that's another thing I also wanted to, and this has nothing to do with AR. This has nothing, I feel like it's always good to be proactive. I think as a good team, you need to be able to be proactive and see in the future. If Ballard is in the fourth or the fifth and there's like a quarterback that we, think, highly of, I would pick him up. That's what I would say. Like it may turn into something later on that we don't know. That's always like 49ers, for instance. They gave bulk loads of pick for the kid Trevor Trace. I forgot his name. The one they sent to Dallas. They gave bulk load to get up to the top. They drafted him. He ended up being a bust, but at the same time, they had Brock Purdy to land on. I'm not saying that you're always going to get lucky like that, but I think you got to be proactive. Get a rookie quarterback in your second or third slot, whatever, instead of paying another free agent to come in. And that's another thing. I have nothing against also Gardner Minshew, but if AR goes down, and God forbid, I don't want what happened this year to happen again, where we're stuck in limbo and we're almost at the playoffs, but not at the playoffs. I'd rather, like, you may not like this, Cole. I'd rather have the worst record to be able to go get some more talent because it does us no good to be stuck in that limbo spot that we got stuck this year where we didn't make it to the playoffs. Luckily, we're still somewhat decent pick. But listen, I would love Marvin Harrison at this point. And I think AR going down, and we didn't have Gardner Minshew, AR would have been in our pick. I think we'd be in the top five. And then now we're looking at a future with AR and uh, Harrison Jr. together. But nevertheless, I digress. But yeah, that's just how I feel about that.
yeah, appreciate it. Obviously, we've disagreed on that before. Respectful disagreement in terms of entertainment value for the fans. Playoff experience. Obviously, we didn't get there, but a makeshift playoff game, if you will, at the end of the Texans game that we couldn't pull through. But I think winning just breeds the culture, man. And these organizations who keep winning, like, yeah, the Chiefs had their down years, but they were never the bottom dwellers. Like the Ravens are always up there. The Lions are a rare instance. The 49ers, even in their down years, they weren't like rock bottom, atrocious in the Mike Singletary, Vernon Davis years. But anyway, we can get more into that, into group discussion. But we got two more requesters and one-on-ones, and then we will get to group. Thank you very much, Huyen. Let me tag you in the football stubs ticket. You might find it pretty cool. Thank you very much for coming on. As always, Huyen, hope to keep you around
Always.
for group discussion. Ray Love was first, and then we'll get to Undisputed after that. But first, Ray Love. I hear you want to bring the heat tonight, man. What is up, Ray Love? Thanks for coming back on the show. I won't even prompt you. I'll just give you the mic. What's up, man?
Hey, Cole, appreciate you. How's my audio?
Good, great. Great.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Well, I just want to thank you, Cole, for letting me go ahead of that equipment manager that you got sitting behind me where he rightfully deserves to be, right behind me. Um, but I just want to say this, Cole. The price going up, baby. The price is going up slowly but steadily. Um, I know you may have not have seen, but Malky Kai will like one of my tweets, and I believe his brother liked it as well. So the price is going up on me, baby. Let me just say that. Um, but yeah, I want to jump into this indie media. I'm always seeing all this crap from indie media. These guys thinking they're just the top insiders and just think they know everything and just they have one-on-one privilege. Let me say this. Let me take this back. I believe the year is 2016, and I may have told this story to some of you out there already, but the year is 2016. Um, a Uber driver, and some of you may remember this story. A Uber driver reported that Andrew Luck had a shoulder injury out in Colorado snowboarding. And an Uber driver broke that story. I believe he called into the radio station and broke the story to 1070. Um, not the indie media. So here's my thing. This is what I want. I question to the indie media out there. Um, how are stories always getting broken and we find out about the stories the same time the indie media does. Though to me, I'm sorry, but I don't consider that insiders. I don't consider these guys having a post on the team like they say they do. And then you see these guys around and they walk with their head up their asses, and they think they're all high and mighty, and they think since they got special privileges at training camp and cool with the ball boys over there on West 56th Street. They think they're one of the guys or something. I don't know. Sometimes they get me in a pickle and piss me off a little bit. They act like dweebs. But I just had to get that rant out there. But I see it, and just switching lanes here. I see it every week. Every week we want to say Chris Ballard. What is I don't understand, man. I just don't understand about I understand this. As fans, you want to win every year. But if we take a recent stroll down about the last 10 years, there's pretty much been the same teams winning, and there hasn't been any new contenders into that Super Bowl mix because guys haven't gotten there yet. Now, everybody wants to bring up year 6, 7, 8. We're in year 15 or whatever they want to goddamn it say about one playoff win and this and that. Guys, newsflash, you weren't consistently making it to the playoffs with a solidified year to year starter behind the helm at quarterback. It's not happening. We patchworked it for the last 4 years. For the last 4 years, we patchworked this thing. Now we have a chance to get back, and we got our guy at the quarterback position. So this is the thing I don't like: how GMs and coaches unfairly get the brunt of their team failing, but you haven't done anything to support these guys at the most critical positions. You put backup fill-in practice squad guys at the helm for you to take snaps all year long, and you don't get very far, and you get canned for it. Now we had a little higher level quarterbacks, to say the least, with Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz, Phillip Rivers, Jacoby Brissett, a little higher level than the word bum would come to think of when you speak of those guys' names. But you're not doing it without a quarterback. So here's my thing. I don't care if you don't like how Chris Ballard hasn't gotten your favorite DN or favorite tight end or favorite player that went to a bum ass school down there in Florida in Tallahassee. I don't care that Chris Ballard hasn't gotten that for you on this team. That doesn't matter. He's built this roster out. He's done an exceptional job putting pieces in place. Now you have the quarterback. Now it's game time. I can now judge Chris Ballard off of that. I'm not going to judge a man when he doesn't have a goddamn quarterback. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So guys, he's on the clock now. He's on the clock now. And you won't hear me making no excuses for oh, he doesn't do this, doesn't do that. It's no excuses no more. No excuses. It's time to get it done. He's on the clock. Live with it. And you want to say Gus Bradley needs to go. That's a Chris Ballard decision. If he's gonna go down rolling with Gus Bradley, God damn it, let him go down in flames with Gus Bradley, because that's the choice he made. So cut me the BS with that. Cut me the BS with the Ballard slander. He has his guy. Now we're finna get rolling, and we're gonna see where this goddamn thing leads us in the next 2 to 3 years. And I believe, I wholeheartedly believe it's gonna end hosting the Lombardi. I believe that in my heart. I feel it. I feel it, guys. Now, I know some of you guys aren't as faith based as me. No disrespect, but I can understand where your angst comes from on certain things, because what you can't see, you don't like to believe. But me, I like to look for and believe in things. And what I believe in is that we have a very, very, very special guy at the quarterback position. And I hear all this crap about 12 quarters played, 3 out of 4 games injured. I hear all that crap. I hear it. It's no way in living hell you watched those limited snaps, those 172 snaps, those 84 dropbacks, those 23 rushing plays, and say, oh, AR's not the guy. We might have to consider something else. We maybe need to go get Jordan Travis in the 5th round and be the backup. I don't want to hear it. Get that crap off my screen. I don't want to hear it no more. It's pissing me off, man. It's pissing me off. But I will say this. Leave the completion percentage thing alone. Leave it alone. I don't want to hear it no more. Leave the oh, he only can throw to his right because he couldn't throw to the left side of the field. Man, listen. I'm gonna tell you this. I listen to guys and I like to hear different perspectives, and I like to learn from guys as well. But I'll tell you this: one guy I won't learn from is a guy who used to play water polo and be the equipment manager for his high school team down there in Southern Indiana. That guy. I'm damn sure not listening to when it comes to quarterback. Like this guy, some freaking guru. Let me tell you this. And I'm gonna tell you, this is all you need to know about this clown: is his favorite quarterback is a quarterback who went 33. Come on, man. That's his favorite quarterback. His favorite quarterback likes Mayo, um, and he went 33. Man, come on, man. I'm not gonna listen to a guy who has that perspective on things. Come on, give me a break. You kidding me? Oh,
All right.
please. I laugh
All
at
right,
it.
Ray Love. We'll get to that more of that in group discussion. I do want to talk. I think your main point at the beginning, which I agree with most. Obviously, we've had plenty of Ballard discussion. Very briefly, I think he had a raw deal. Was very unfortunate in decisions made that I would have made I would have made the same decision. Like, it's hard to fault him for bringing in a Phil Rivers. I think I might get crucified for this. Tom Brady, Matt Stafford should have been way more heavily considered just because Reich didn't want it. Well, Reich did want Stafford, but the 2 first that should have been gambled. Stafford won a Super Bowl. Obviously, we didn't. Fault him for that. Do not fault him for Carson Wentz. Not that much. And I don't fault him for the Luck
They
retirement.
love bringing that
Obviously.
one up.
Yeah.
They love the Carson Wentz one.
Right.
They love that one. They love to clown Ballard for that.
Right. You're
But you bring in your head coach's guy.
right.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and Ursay backed that, so that one you just kind of got to wear. No other great options either in the draft that year. I mean, same with Ryan. We were shit out of luck because we got Wentz, we wanted Wentz out, And then, it was kind of a tank-ish job to get Anthony Richardson. Although, I don't believe in it, but the roster wasn't built to contend in 2022. That's for sure. Your other point, and then we'll get to Undisputed, who can kick off group discussion, is the local media. I try to not be the tear down all media. I support Hicks, Adams, even he's Nate Atkins of the Star. Like Joel Erickson even isn't that bad, who I've had run-ins with too. Gone back and forth. Kravitz could take it on the chin, but you're sensitive freaking Romeoville kid for the Indy Star, who you had a good comment to, Ray Love. I tried to back you up on it. He blocked us both immediately. I see he's blocking more and more, genuine Colts fans who are just not even critiquing him, just giving him different things to ponder, and he doesn't want to see it. To me, that's soft. If you talk Colts, you want everybody to hear you talking Colts, and there's a difference between being hated on, fearing for what people say to you. That's fine. I know everybody uses the block button a different way, but if you're local media and you write articles for a living and you're just going to shy away like that when you don't even have that much to bring to the table. Honestly. And that's my bigger point, Stephen Holder. You're the Irsay guy, and the only thing we get out of Irsay is one tweet from him. Like, yeah, no national media picked up on it, but guess who got the defensive line news? National media. I think Romeoville kid got the assistant safeties coach hire first, but that was after national media got Alex Tanney reported to be the offensive quality control coach. Like,
These guys don't break
yeah,
stories.
exactly right.
They just co-sign them. That's all they
The
do.
Andrew
They
Luck,
just
the Andrew
co-sign.
Luck retirement, the Andrew Luck shoulder. Like it's all this big thing, and then they want us to respect them, Greg Doyle. And that's the point I think you made the best on. It's like they're not breaking enough news for us to respect what they're talking about. Jeff Saturday. How many times did we hear that Jeff Saturday is the leading candidate? It's a joke. No coach wants to come to the Colts because of Jeff Saturday. It's crap. They need to be better. And that's why I go so hard at him. That's why I go hard at Dockich even, because he has a platform. He's not the insider guy, but he claims to be. Like, that's what we're doing here. That's why I follow Adams, Hicks, the guys who are living, breathing Colts and don't make it about a bigger political issue. I want to talk Colts football. I want you to have the best knowledge on Colts football. All shit goes to the side, and then you don't get my respect when the national media keeps consistently beating you to literally every Colts story.
And you know what, too? Just to add to that, Cole, um, these guys, it's two things I feel like that goes to journalism and getting a correct depiction of the team and all things surrounding the team. You need to have a post on what's going on inside the building. And I also think you need to have a post on what the fan base thinks about these things that are going on as well. And these guys don't have a post on the fan base.
Absolutely not.
These guys just, they get stories from the national media and then co-sign them and and want to add their 2 cents in. That's all these guys do. Hell, and most of the time it almost feels like, when the story breaks about this team, the same time that we're seeing it, these guys are seeing it going down their Twitter feed the same damn way too. The only difference is they got a laptop and they type the shit
Yep.
up.
They,
That's the
they
only
get they get
difference.
they get like a minute or two before us because they're actually at the press conference. But they can't read between the lines. They don't know how to read between the lines. The Jeff Saturday hire, the Irsay news in general. Like, what are we talking about? They all claim to have this insider access to Jim Irsay, and nobody knows shit. Nobody even knows that he's at the Steelers game 8 months after the incident, and yet they're trying to just dismiss completely that he was at the Steelers game and write their own narrative about what happened when TMZ is telling them to. Again, I don't know what happened either. I'm just giving some other analysis of, like, I don't know. Doesn't sound like it all adds up like done deal. Narcan, that's a drug overdose to me. Like, there's so many things that just are consistent thumbs in the eye to genuine fans. And yeah, I'm heated. Yeah, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things probably. But these are the people we're supposed to pay to read their content, to listen to what they have to say. And yeah, here you are, and we're all talking, and we know much more about the Colts collectively than any single one of them. I guarantee it. But anyway, Ray
Oh
Love, any
yeah.
final thought? We'll get to Undisputed and kick off group discussion. Go ahead and hit that request button for group discussion.
Yeah, let me just do this here. I'm standing in the middle of the ring. Undisputed, bring your candy ass out. I want to hear what you got to say. Because you know what, I like your perspective sometimes. Because I like when I hear bullshit come out of guys' mouths, and just makes me say I'm right. So bring your candy ass down the ramp. And you know, I know you're a WWE fan too, just as myself. So bring your ass down the ramp, come to the middle of the ring, and face me. Let's see what you got to say.
Hey, I'll add him in here. Thank you, Ray Love. How's that Corbin guy doing that played for the Colts very briefly? And is he still in the WWE? That Bryant Corbin.
Uh,
Any idea what happened to him? Anywho, he fought.
He's
I
in
can't
next.
remember.
He's in next.
Okay,
He's a scrub.
okay, all right. Well, he had his
Um,
McAfee moment. Ray Love, I'll let you go to give Undisputed the
good
floor.
lord.
Yeah,
You know,
go ahead and hit that re-request button for group discussion. We'll
I thought at the
lead into it.
beginning hearing someone double down on Jalen Jones being better than Nate Wiggins was the dumbest fucking thing I've heard in this space. And then my guy Ray, you know, the guy who looks like he ate the guy who played water polo, is gonna come in here and fucking, you know, talk like he fucking knows shit. Like I hate that it's the Ballard. Well, first, so yes, the defensive line hire good. He's not the best defensive line coach in the country. That's Odell Haggins down in Tallahassee. We consistently put D line in the draft. But so let's see, what was there? Yeah, like I hate that it's just this. It's I feel like it's going to be the Ballard debate for the next fucking you know, probably when's the draft? April. When is it? April something?
Yeah, late April.
Yeah. So, but it's just we've been putting pieces together for 7 years, going into year 8. You know, why didn't we have a quarterback? Because I wish there was a position that was in charge of acquiring pieces to fill a roster. And I think it would be the general manager. I don't know who that is. I think that's Chris Ballard. It's his fault we didn't have a quarterback. He passed on quarterbacks. He didn't get aggressive to go get quarterbacks. You know, and the Wentz thing, you can sit and try and deflect it away from Ballard, but just like Jack Nicholson said in The Departed, heavy lies the crown. And when they traded for him, he went up there excited and said, "We got our guy, our guy." So I don't want to hear this. Oh, it's not Ballard, and he was, you know, went kicking and fighting. You know, it's bullshit. And you can sit and say this like, you know, this oh, we have our guy now, and we don't care about this and this, these, we don't need these big players and all that shit. But I want to read a quote, and if you think that we're supposed to just be that like Ballard, you know, can do no wrong, and he's the guy and AR is the guy, I just want to read a little quote here. I gotta give me 2 seconds. Where was it? Even with the injury to Anthony, like we don't know yet, but we're encouraged by what we saw. Let's not go crown him. Let's not stamp him yet. I mean, we're not there. We've got a lot of work to do, and he's got a lot of work to do, but it's encouraging. So yes, that was actually Chris Ballard. So not even Chris Ballard is completely sold on you know, your guys' is king, you know, to Ray. So you can talk about completion percentage. You can talk about these things because they are actual issues. You know, the injuries are an issue. Those are things to be concerned. And like for Ballard to just, you know, this is year 8. If you want yours, Ray, if you want your standards to be the Browns and the Jets, where we're just like middling bottom feeder teams, you know, for long periods of time. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just older and you know was around when the Colts were good for longer. You know, some people are in here kind of young, but like I just have higher standards for that. And as far as like the draft, I mean, I know you kind of touched base on the draft with some people. I would rather us sign a corner like you. I want edge like you. Someone said that Jared Verse doesn't fit in our system. I don't know how that makes sense, but I'm pretty much in step with you. And then as far as like receivers, for one, I really am looking forward to. I think it's hilarious that Brock Bowers, who also shares the same birthday as me and Taylor Swift, pretty crazy, what people think, everyone's really wanted Brock Bowers, and he's been the big talk of Colts Twitter over the last week or two. I think it's crazy. Our defense is horrible. We actually need defense, not a tight end in the first round. But I wonder what people's opinion. Did you see this, Cole, of where he wants to go play?
Yeah, Tennessee Titans. How about that?
He wants to go play for Will Levis, not Anthony Richardson.
Yeah. Well,
so I'm just curious what everyone's opinion
he's a
on that
Georgia
is gonna
boy,
be.
right? I mean, I don't know his background. I don't know his history. If his favorite team was the Titans, I agree
I have
with
no idea.
I agree with you there, though. How about this? We've talked plenty on this topic, but what if in a perfect world we sign a Snead, we sign a Hunter, we shore up the Colts free agents that we all want back? Then would you be okay
you
with
wouldn't have the money for you wouldn't have the money for that. There's no. I mean, if you wouldn't be able to. Someone's not like Grove or like. I mean, you just have to think about this money situation because you have to have money for free agents.
You could
like a Daniil Hunter. Brian, how much? Okay, Daniil Hunter is going to get not quite Brian Burns money,
Really?
but he's going to get big money.
Oh.
Brian Burns they're projected 5-year, $130 million. Anyone who thinks that and like,
well, Burns,
I don't
no
think
chance. Yeah, I mean,
Daniil Hunter isn't going to get quite that money, but he's going to get big money. It's going to be a lot of money. I would just rather I'm with you on signing the corner, Jalen Johnson or Jalen Jones, because Ray doesn't even know the names, or Jerry Snead. Sign one of those guys. If I wouldn't letting Kenny walk isn't that big of a deal. If he goes, he goes. If he doesn't, depending on the money.
Who was playing backup for Kenny Moore in training camp? Who played the Kenny Moore role? His direct backup, Cole Coleman.
Cole Coleman. Oh, I forgot about
Bring
that.
Back,
legendary. ColtsFanCole.
You're absolutely right. That's the most true thing you've ever said.
Yeah. But yeah, then I just truly want edge first. I want us to get like our guy, not just like we've done the Justin Houstons, we've done the Yannick Ngakwe's, trying to get these guys. It's at a position. Just like Bernard Ryman, we went like I will give Ballard somewhat. Ryman has progressed well. Me and Brock had said all last year, even before the season, that between Pittman, Ryman, and like the Quiddy Ebukam would determine where we would want to go in the first round. Like if two of them, like if Pittman and Quiddy were great, but Ryman sucked, we'd want to go left tackle. So whoever the weakest link of those three, and that's just kind of where we were at. I just want to go get our guy, get draft, just like you said with the quarterback last year. You preach that more than anybody. You want to go get our guy, and like for when it comes to like those premium positions, sometimes that's what you want. Like, we did it with Freeney, we did it with Mathis, let's do it for this. And then, there's a million, there are so many great receivers in this draft. I mean, there is, and if I hear Ricky Pearsall, like to the Colts, I've seen people saying we should get him in like the second or third round. All I ever heard was AR was trash in college because his receivers sucked, and now everyone wants to go draft his receivers from college. It's mind-boggling to me.
One more question for you, Undisputed, and we'll kick off group.
I have one more point too. I got like one. You ask questions.
Sure. Yeah. Since we're on the topic, doomsday scenario. We don't, maybe free agency kind of goes our way. Let's just say a good enough corner that a lot of we can agree on can be slotted in the first round. That's a minimum. We have to do that. But what if Verse is gone, Latu's gone, Bowers is gone? What's like the rock bottom at 15? Do you see us taking? Is there an edge that's even worth it at that point to take at 15?
I mean, Dallas Turner is also very good. Then you're looking at. I mean, then it kind of gets interesting. Like, I mean, there's even JPJ from, I really want I really, really, really want edge. You're not going to reach for like a Braylon Trice, assuming the big receiver is not there. I just think this is such a deep receiver class. You don't have to get one of the top receivers.
You take Coleman at 15 if all the edges are gone.
That could be. Listen, JPJ from Oregon, the center that can play center and guard. If Ballard were to reach for him, or even I would love if he like moved our second up and took him, someone like that. I would love that. I mean, that guy is just an absolute phenomenal. he could replace Will Fries right now. He can be the Ryan Kelly replacement for whenever. But yeah, but
But isn't that
like
drafting
there's
non-premium positions? Isn't that the whole point of this
I
draft?
mean, like a truly generational guy in the
But
trenches, I
you beat
wouldn't
up
be too
Ballard
mad
for
about it.
taking Big Q and
For a guard at that time, I mean JPJ is more of a center, but he can play guard. Like I'm just throwing out options. I would more prefer that guy in the second.
gotcha.
But I then it's like I tweeted about it where everyone wants Brock Bowers, but like Johnny Wilson is 6'7". It's like not quite as fast. Obviously, there's a pretty big size difference. And to me, being able to get a playmaker on defense in the first and getting a guy like Johnny Wilson in the third, it has more value than taking a Brock Bowers in the first. I'll debate that with anybody. They're both elite pass blockers, run blockers. It's just I just don't want to take. I'm like you. I don't really want to take a tight end in the first.
Sure.
Like I just don't. I mean,
Last point
but the
you were saying you were
last
going to
point was
make, and then
just
we can get to
that
group.
oh yeah, it was the thing with the D line hire is I'm already feel like I'm already seeing it is we're gonna see some of these podcasters, these bozos like Zach Hicks and the Bring the Juice fucking
I
idiots.
love Zach Hicks.
They're gonna people are going to he's a
I
clown.
love Zach
People are
Hicks.
going to start doing we don't need to get edge. We don't need to get edge because we got this new coach and Tropical Storm Dio is going to be the guy and this and that and no, I can already see it coming. I'm an all draft season. I'm going to lose my mind because people are going to think that we don't need edge. We don't need pass rushers. It's been pass rushers and quarterback has been Ballard's biggest blunder his entire career in Indy, and he needs to finally fix it. We can go into group discussion on that note.
Cool.
Bring that cheeseburger Ray back in here.
No, appreciate a lot of food for thought here. We'll go Augustine to kick off group, and then give Antoine the mic after that. But go ahead and hit that request button. Everybody
My
is
Panamanian
welcome
brother.
now in group discussion.
Hey,
Antoine, we're gonna go to Augustine first to kick off group discussion. We'll get to you after Augustine, Antoine.
hey, how you doing?
Hey,
Yeah,
Cole,
I
can you hear
can.
me?
Can you hear me? All right, let's.
How you
Sounds
doing,
like a
Cole?
Hemi.
Good evening.
Hey, Augustine. Let's get to Augustine first here. Let me see if we can. Sounds like Antoine might
Yeah,
have audio issues. Augustine, go ahead. What's up, man? Thanks for coming
yeah,
back.
don't just yeah, thank you. Just hearing, undisputed Christmas wish list, for the draft. I know. I think we have to make a difference of what we want versus the history of.
Hey, Cole, can you hear me?
Hey, sorry, Antoine. Augustine's going now.
Hey, Augustine, I apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just
Yep,
wanted to make
we
sure
can
y'all
hear
could
you.
hear
We'll
me.
get to
Y'all
you
That's
good?
after
okay. Don't
Augustine.
worry.
Go.
All
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Thanks,
go
That's
ahead.
Antoine.
okay. Don't worry. Yeah. We have to differentiate what we want for the team. Like, I agree. Like, maybe the Colts will benefit for with a game changing edge in the first round. But at the same time, I have to review objectively how Chris Ballard had been operating in the last 8 years with the draft. Um, so there's like different scenarios that we can go through, and the questions would be the within the players that are available at 15. Um, uh, if I would be able, for example, he mentioned the situation about the tight end Bowers. The question would be, for example, would Chris Ballard will be able to find in the second and the third round a similar prototype offensive weapon like Bowers in later rounds? That's one of the valid questions that you can say. If the question is yes, then of course you will pass on Bowers and then take the pass rusher, which will be taking a need, you know. Um, Rather, even if Bowers might be an overall better player than any of the the edges that are on the first round. This is just a supposition. Not saying that it's like that. Um, but at the same time, we know Chris Ballard likes to say, "Hey, we like the group that we have of." I think this past season was like we like the group of cornerbacks that we had, and sadly we have issues with that. We had injuries. We had low performance from many of the defensive backs. I'm hoping that he might change his approach this year's draft, getting more, investing on real like game changing players. But at the same time, I have to be objective and say, hey, what could also possible happen? If we go back into the 2023 season, and you see, the performance of the D line and the performance of the secondary, I would have to say that between the two, both will have flaws on their play. But at the same time, I will say that the weakest link at that point was had been the secondary. Which this year seems to be like one of the glaring needs that probably will be the best to fix it through free agency. But at the same time, I'll make this question: like, if we had at that point of the season a more serviceable secondary with the defensive line that we had of combination of Dio, Quiddy, Ebukam, and then Buckner and Grover in the middle. With a more serviceable, average to above average secondary, would this team will have won a couple extra games? I certainly think so. And I'm saying this, not saying that our D line was perfect. Our D line has a weaknesses, and some of the games during the season they had uneven play. The performance was not consistent. Uh, so one of the theories or one of the things or the possibilities that I have, if Ballard thinks that or he likes the defensive line group, the pass rushing group, despite the weaknesses, and he thinks that putting just a better secondary that will make the defense a little better or much better to the point that we could win a couple more games. That means instead of being a 9-8, then we'll be, I don't know, 10-7 or even 11-6. Um, then he might go better providing a new weapon to your younger quarterback. Um, you have already assured, the backfield, with Jonathan Taylor. And for sure, Michael Pittman Jr. will continue playing in the Colts. I think people are too not doesn't have to worry because on the worst case scenario, Michael Pittman will play under the franchise tag. I don't think Ballard will be stupid to let him go. And I think the icing on the cake for the offense will be getting, a really a nice tight end like Brock Bowers. But again, this is just talking about possibilities, not talking about like, okay, what do I want or what the team needs. Just talking about like how Ballard had been operating on 8 years of his tenure and how he might go. So I think it's very important to address all those like possibilities.
Yeah, appreciate it, Undisputed. Yeah, a lot of good info there. Big.
Whoa, 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 whoa! He's not
Or
What?
undisputed.
What?
sorry,
What?
Augustine was looking at Undisputed. Was hearing about. Appreciate it, Augustine. A lot of good points, about Ballard's tenure, up to this point. But obviously needs to hit home runs at the key positions that just haven't really happened yet, especially defensively. Had some good hits later in the rounds that were like good tier starters, but in terms of the top end home run hitting, I agree. We need to improve, and this is definitely an all in year. I know Antoine's next, and then we can kind of do a round robin of everybody here. Just kind of a free for all or hand method if we get some more requesters. Antoine, go ahead.
Oh no, Cole, you're good, man. I'm still driving, dude. I'm almost there at my house. But just go ahead and do the open discussion, dude. It's
No.
okay, man.
Antoine, what car do you drive?
Huh?
What car do you drive?
A Dodge Durango,
I was gonna say it
the
sounded like a
RT.
Hemi. I was just curious.
Yeah, Dodge Durango RT.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you started it up. It sounded like a Hemi.
Uh, uh,
yeah, it is.
Attaboy, Antoine, get there safe, and we'll catch you when you get home. All
Oh,
right,
I'm pulling up right
all
now,
right,
but you're good, dude. Open the
all right.
discussion up. You're good.
Opening the discussion up. Anything Chris Ballard, I guess we're gonna have to go back to that conversation, but go ahead,
Yeah,
Ray Love. Let's. Why not?
Go
Why not?
cheeseburger.
Ray
Go
fucking
cheeseburger.
love, dude. That
yeah,
laugh,
Cole.
that
It's a
laugh.
Wednesday
I'll
ending in
take it over
Y,
from
isn't it?
here.
Go ahead, Ray Love.
Here, here's my thing. Going back to Mr. Rump Ranger's soliloquy about AR. You want to talk about completion percentage and all these things, but you're basing it off, as you say, 12 quarters. I don't understand that.
Nine
How can
quarters.
we judge somebody off 84 pass attempts? I've never in my close to almost what? Almost, I'm getting up here on 20 years of watching ball, guys, and being involved in ball in some way or fashion. Almost 20 years. I've never heard somebody judge somebody off of 84 throws at the National Football League, especially when he has limited snaps in college as well. So I don't get that whole narrative. He just spews that crap. I don't get it. I don't get it. And then here's the thing, Cole, that you may have not ever heard about this. All this crap he talks about AR and Chris Ballard, once he gets in town, he's quiet as a mouse. He's quiet as a mouse. That's all I gotta say.
Ray, that's
And
because you got me
I'm
stoned.
hoping to run into Undisputed
That's because you got
for
me
that
stoned.
Bulls
Of
game
course
when
I
they
was
come down
quiet.
here and get that ass whooping. If you'll be in attendance, I'll gladly sit next to you and then coach you on some basketball too, because it seems like your knowledge is stuck back in the '90s, big boy. You need to get
Listen,
some higher learners of me, and I can be the one to
Ray,
teach you that.
your
Ray,
Pacers,
Ray,
Ray,
Ray, Ray, chill, chill,
Your
chill, chill, Ray,
Pacers just
chill,
named
chill,
a guy
chill,
that's
chill.
been there for 1 year on the all-time Pacers list because you have no good players in your franchise history outside Reggie Miller.
Oh
So a guy
man,
that's been here for a year is
dude,
on your
you are
all-time
very
list already. That's
Rick
controversial.
embarrassing. That's
Smits,
You're very
Detlef
embarrassing.
controversial.
Schrempf,
That's embarrassing.
Jalen Rose,
Your
Danny
second
Green,
best point
Paul
guard is Mark
George,
Jackson.
Victor Oladipo, Demontis
Yeah,
Sabonis, All
yeah,
Star,
dude, you're
All Star,
tripping.
All Star.
You're
We're not going to
tripping.
get into Pacer
Yeah.
talk, but back one quick point. It is, I hate to say it, Ray Love has a point. There's a lot of these big wins the Colts have, and one of my most loyal listeners just was nowhere to be found after the Titans win over Levis with Gardner. What was the other big win?
The special teams won it. Who cares? I
Grant Stewart
wasn't I
won it.
not I was in this. No, I was in the
Oh
post game. I wasn't in
Lord.
the mid game
No, you
or
weren't.
maybe I was in the
No,
mid
no
or the
post game.
halftime.
No, you was not
Oh
there because
yeah.
I remembered
Oh
you.
yeah.
I
I don't know
definitely
where
remember
That
I
you.
was
don't know
that
what I
was
was
that
doing.
was
I'm in
the that
most
was
of them.
freaking
Yeah.
controversial Colt who chimed in and I went nuclear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
that's who
wait.
I had my
Yeah.
beef with
Oh
originally.
wait. But
But
that's
now
me.
it's
But that's
him. Now
everyone
it's
thinks
you.
that's
Now,
me though.
oh,
Oh
it's
yeah,
you?
yeah.
Okay, no
No, I'm not.
wonder.
That's him.
Antoine, I'm not actually that guy. It's a joke.
I was about to say, no fucking wonder.
Yeah, dummies like to fucking say that it's me, but it's not.
Anyway, let's get a
I
little
don't
back
even
on
agree.
track
Yeah.
here. Go over some points, maybe some fodder. So the key, if you missed the top of the show, first 20 minutes, really talked about the new coaching hires, safeties, coach Justin Hamilton, Alex Tanney, offensive quality control coach, former Colt for a month in 2015 too, and then Charlie Partridge, D line coach. Jim Irsay is doing better on the mend, tweeted by Jim Irsay himself, and also Gardner Minshew tearing it up, 8 for 8 at the Pro Bowl, 2 touchdowns, and the Indiana Knights uniforms earned a dishonorable mentioned. So any of those topics we can get into. Maybe the Gardner discussion, since it is the most prevalent, could be
Did you actually watch the Pro
no,
Bowl?
could be a swan song. No,
Nobody
no.
watched that.
Could be a swan song for Gardner, going out in a Colts uniform. But what do people think? Is there like a price limit? I think forget the caller. Apologies. Kind of had a good point of he could very well go to like a team in need of like a bridge quarterback temporarily if they draft a young guy similar. But
I got an
yeah,
opinion on that,
sure.
Cole. I got an opinion after you're done.
No, go
After you're
for it.
done,
I'm just
after you're
setting the
done. Go
scene.
ahead. So honestly, I forgot who the name of
Sam
our
Ellinger.
third backup is. Yeah, him. All right, I understand, dude. Like he's been there for a while, and it's like more so of like a love thing for him to keep him around. But honestly, I think that we should pay fucking Minshew what we're paying him, just a little bit, probably a little bit more, a couple million more. All right, to keep him back there. All right, and get somebody else late in the draft as a backup QB, dude. Because honest to God truth, if something happened to Anthony Richardson, we know we got Minshew, and Minshew has already proved himself. Even though I was one of the biggest haters of Minshew, everybody knows this in the beginning. He's proved himself. So at the end of the day, honestly, at the stage that he was playing at, and how he brought us into a winning fucking season, you can't really hate the dude, man. He did what he was supposed to do and a little bit better as a QB2. That's just in my opinion. That's coming from somebody that talked bad about him mostly the beginning of the season. So
I
I'm just
agree, and
saying.
I'll get Undisputed up here. Has his hand up. We can do hand method, whatever, chime ins. But before Undisputed goes, I completely agree. Like Minshew never had a win over a team above 500 in his career until he came to the Colts. Overperformed. Like if we're in
Yep.
the $5 million
Yep.
range, I'm fine with it. Like on a 1 year deal. But reality is kind of setting in. Like obviously QB2 for life. I've tweeted multiple times, but if the money's right,
Yeah. We got
he's
to
good
keep
with
him.
AR in the locker room. The fans love him. The team loves him. Obviously familiar with Steichen's offense can help, AR keep progressing in terms of soaking in, digesting that offense. But I would love to keep
And,
him.
and honestly, Cole, let's be real. I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me on it, even though, like I said, I was one of the most critiques of him. We don't want to have to face him, dude. Like, be real. He knows our fucking defense. He knows our offense. Even though they change it, we still don't want to have to go against him, dude, because he knows the little antics, or the little things that the defensive players
Yeah,
do. You know what I
the
mean?
only
He
thing
knows it.
though, I don't know
We
if
don't want
we'd
to go
play
against
him.
him.
Like love him. Like he deserves to, flirt with the one if it's a quarterback competition. But almost everywhere would be looking for
That's what I'm
another.
saying. If he goes
Yeah,
somewhere else, yeah, if he goes somewhere else as a number two, and then you know how most of this team this year, they all been like most of them, like not most of them, but a lot of them been playing their
right.
QB2s because the QB1's been hurt. So, if he goes to a team that's trying out a new fucking rookie quarterback and he gets hurt and we fucking got to, you know what I mean? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I said, no, a big if scenario. That's
Yeah,
all I'm saying, dude. Like, we really don't want to have to face that bullshit. Like, it's especially against him because he
yeah.
knows our defense.
It's a
He
little
knows it.
farther down the line for me to be too terribly concerned about it, but I hear you. And also, you could argue though that Steichen
Yeah, yeah,
knows
yeah.
Gardner better than Gardner maybe knows. So it could
Exactly. The
counterbalance
same
and
pressure is over.
but yeah, I'll appreciate your thoughts. Let's get to Undisputed had his hand up on this topic,
All
and
right.
then Brandon, we got you next.
Yeah, the
We're
only
good.
the only Antoine, the only thing I would say is just like I mean, Gardner Minshew is good enough to get you to. I mean, with this team, if he's if like he's only good enough to get you to like that middle of the pack, and that's about it. And if AR goes down and we don't have like a good backup, I'd rather like I mean, if AR goes down again, we're gonna be looking for a quarterback probably. But I'd rather get honestly, I'd rather take anybody. I mean, obviously, I'd love Jordan Travis, but anybody but Joe Milton. But I'd love for us to get someone that could more fit the so it's not having to completely change the game plan. Someone a little more athletic, I guess, that would kind of more fit. And then like obviously
Yeah.
with a little bit of a
Yeah.
stronger arm because I don't want to hear no more
Yep.
if if so let's say AR goes down again. And then we got to hear all the excuses of why Alec Pierce still sucks and like is it's Minshew can't throw the ball and this and that like so I'd just rather get someone take someone because to be
So
honest
so
isn't Minshew making like 3 million
Yeah,
a year or something
incentives
for 4
after
million?
incentives, it was still only like 4.5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
I
gonna
don't think
get
that
twice as
Minshew.
much of
I
that
don't
at
know.
least.
I don't think Minshew. It's not that Minshew don't have the arm. I don't think there was. I don't think he had the confidence of making an accurate deep throw. That's what I think it was because he
He didn't
kept getting
have.
picked off, and you could see towards the end that he was throwing more conservative than he was. You know, what I mean, anything else. He was being more conservative with his throws. So I don't think that he didn't have the arm. I think he was just scared to get picked off and make a bad play. That's what I think that was. I think he got the arm. I think he was just scared. That's
That in
all
his
it was,
his
honestly.
pocket
Did you
But
awareness
did,
coaches,
too. He was not comfortable in a clean pocket, like
nope,
running when he
did
didn't need
he
to.
was
The
not
look back.
comfortable.
How awful was
did
that
you
look
see
back when he freaking could have got the first down, got tackled?
Do
Yeah.
not
did
bring
you
it
see
up.
the
Do
Cole?
not.
Did you see the chart that was getting posted by everyone this week, where it was like on the one axis, it was like where you're throwing an accurate ball um, to where like the runner can get it and go. On like one was like on vertical throws and one was like on horizontal throws, and like Gardner Minshew was like to the bottom left, so he was like bad at both. Like it
What?
was,
What? What? Wait, hold
it's,
on, hold on, hold on, hold
Hold
on.
on, is this a
Go
Will
ahead,
Levis
Ray.
chart?
Go
I
ahead.
have to ask before Ray Love hops
No,
in.
no, this
Okay,
is this
I
is this.
assumed
So,
I
okay,
assumed
yeah, go
Levis
ahead,
would be
Cole.
at the top of the
No,
chart if that's what he was bringing up.
Will Levis was very good on his verticals.
He
no.
He
was.
was up
He
there.
Will Levis. Say what you want. Some of those dimes he threw that were just pure, like
We're
60
plenty. They
yard
was good.
bombs, unbelievable. But hey, a lot of
so,
middle
Yeah,
middle range needs to be
he
done.
Dude, he has his
Yeah.
so
potential. I don't hate Will Levis. I just don't think he as good as everybody thinks he is. You know what I mean?
he is.
I do
He
not
is.
hate him. He
He
is a
is.
good quarterback,
No,
He
but
no,
he
is.
is
no, no.
not as
I
good as
flat
everybody
out
put him out
fucking
to be,
hate
dude.
him.
why does this guy live off pie charts and line graphs? Talking about some
I
axis.
know.
What the hell?
No,
Hey,
Ray,
hey,
Hey,
give Ray
I'm
Love the
talking
floor, and then
about
we'll get to Brandon.
li,
Yeah, go ahead, Ray.
are we
I'm sorry,
talking
I'm muting
about
myself.
line graphs and charts when it compares to the game of football that's physical, that ain't played on a piece of paper? Are we really talking about that? Man, come on, give me a break. Cut it out. I don't want to hear about no
What do you
line graphs and
prefer,
pie
Ray Love?
charts.
Bar graphs, some plot, line analysis.
This is what I prefer. You stick one foot in, and then you stick the other foot in into your jock strap, pull your pants up, put your pads on, lace your helmet up, strap those boots up, and let's go on the field and get it. I don't give me that shit about no line grass pie charts. I don't want to hear about it. Lace that shit up. Let's
hey,
play it on the field. I don't give a damn what the metrics say. I don't give a damn.
Ray, you're like that guy from the from the lemonade drinking competition on the Fourth of July. Bad Lads Booker.
Hey,
But hey, in the top of the space is that chart that I was just talking about. It's so from it's from going across from bottom left to bottom right is on your horizontal, and then your vertical is. And look at where Minshew is, dude.
I thought he was. I thought
it's
for sure he'd
I
be a
don't know
little
how to
better
read
on
no
the.
line graphs.
Dude, fuck
Yeah,
a
yeah.
graph, dude.
No,
Fuck that
everybody's
graph,
right.
dude.
Yeah, fuck the graph. Honestly,
look at Jared Goff
yeah,
on there,
that's
dude.
You know
Yeah,
what?
fuck
You know
that,
what?
dude.
I kind of understand now. Now that I'm piecing things together, where Undisputed likes these graphs from, when you're a equipment manager for your local Southern Indiana high school, so you kind of
I'm not a
resort,
hillbilly in
so
Southern Indiana,
so
first
you
of
like
all.
to resort to that, and
Ray Love, don't be calling people names. Stop it
with
now,
that
Ray.
ginger
Stop it.
beard, and
Ginger beard.
no wonder he
I'm
likes
not
Levis.
controversial.
No wonder he likes Levis with his ginger
all
self.
right, all right. What?
Ray,
Back on track.
chill.
Let's get to Brandon. Had his hand up. Had his hand up for a while in the Gardner Minshew re-sign talk. Brandon, get us back on track. Talk some Colts football. What's up? Glad to have you back, man.
Hey, yeah, I just, I think people are making more of a big deal out of the Minshew thing. I mean, yeah, I was one of those people who kind of, it's easy to judge him early on because we're just so used to excellence at the quarterback position. It's easy to point fingers. But I just don't think we have a lot more to worry about than a backup quarterback. I don't, if we get him, great. If not, whatever. Like, I don't see the big dispute about it. Like it's a backup quarterback. Our quarterback is here, Anthony Richardson. That is our guy. It's not going to change for the foreseeable future. I just didn't get the big discussion on if we should bring him back or not. If we do, great. If not, there's 30, 40 other guys that we can put back there if we need. And if we need a backup quarterback to win, then it's just not going to be good.
Yeah, appreciate the comments, Brandon. Yeah, I'd slightly disagree. 30 to 40 is probably way too much in my opinion. I think the main talking point is because he was at the Pro Bowl. You know, his name was kind of out there, and it's like, oh, Gardner, do we bring him back or not? You know, slow news week getting here in the off season. I would prefer him at a $5 million deal over drafting anybody over Sam Ellinger. Love Sammy E. But I would probably go the Gardner route if I had my ultimate preference.
Cole.
Yes, sir.
Cole. The other thing, Antoine, you said like if you are signing Gardner Minshew because you're afraid of your team playing him, then your team is in a horrible position.
No.
That's what you
I'm
said.
afraid of what he knows. Of what he knows when he plays us.
Oh my
That's it.
goodness, dude!
I'm afraid of what he knows. He knows our defense. That's what I'm
I
afraid of.
forgot
He
that
knows it.
I wanted to make fun of you on that.
Dude, we have a zone, bro. We run the same defense almost every fucking year.
Oh yeah, we do have a predictable defense. Yeah, that's why Gus Bradley
Yeah.
needs to go.
So and Minshew knows that. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
but
afraid. What he knows.
I don't.
That's what I'm afraid
Yeah.
of.
But hey, we should take a tight end in the first. You know, let's.
Oh
Exactly
hell
well.
no. I say defense. Defense before any cornerback or safety. Since we like to fucking trade safeties to linebacker and shit, might as well go ahead and look for a safety too on top
In
of
the
it.
first
Because
fucking
obviously,
round.
like,
Yeah, I don't think it's
just
safety in the
saying.
first, but like in this, if there was a good safety in the second, I would
But
not be
I'm just
opposed to
saying,
that.
like in general, dude. Like we have a lot of players on our team. Honestly, I don't think that we need anybody. What I think we need to do, and this is the truth, and you can hate me if you want, is that we need to change our defensive scheme. That's what we need to do. We need to do more disguise, and we need to blitz a little bit more. That's all we need to do. It has nothing to do with us needing better players because our players have the abilities. We can see that. Just some players don't fit in certain positions. Just like some of our cornerbacks are not good in certain positions. You see, they get blown out the whole time. Like they get ran past the whole time. So we need to just figure out what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and use our people. They obviously made it to the NFL for a fucking reason. You know what I mean? So it's not like they suck. It's just that their strengths are not being used like they're supposed to be used. That's the problem. Because you can see the potential. Because they make a couple good plays. We're like, yo, these motherfuckers are good. But as soon as they make one bad play, we're like, oh man, fuck them. That's what we do. That's what's bad with our fucking fan base. I'm just gonna say that right now. Okay. But at the end of the day, we had the talent on our team. We always do. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Our GM, whatever. We might talk bad about him. Some people might talk bad. Some people might talk good. But he knows what he's doing when he picks his people. He just needs his fucking coaches to learn where to put them. And Steichen been there for 1 year, so he's not going to be trying to step on people's toes by telling them what to do in their job. He's not going to do that. He's going to try to build a fucking, you know what I mean, a good relationship with them first. All right? So he can't just step in and tell them how to do their job.
I wish he fucking would.
But
Yeah.
I wish he would, but you know how it is, dude. Like, you walk into some place new that you don't know these people,
And who is
but you know
Antoine?
them.
Why
Y'all
did he
all in
block
common.
me?
Who?
Who is Colts fan Antoine? Why he got me blocked?
I didn't block you.
All right, we can discuss that offline. Good
Hey,
point.
Duke
good
it
point.
out.
No,
I just unblocked you. Anyways, but yeah, that's
no,
what I was
good
saying.
point,
That's all I was
Antoine.
saying,
I think
bro.
to go along with that, and I see the hands for Augustine and John. Welcome, John. We'll go to Augustine first. Had his hand up before, but I think the big thing that this defensive line coach hire, like off-season position coaches, like who really knows? I think if Gus trusts him more so now to put the right people in the right positions, it may get a little more exotic with our blitz schemes, or hey, have more blitzing.
Thank you.
While probably split, I don't know, 60-40 maybe are people fans anti-Gus Bradley, which is fine. I'm in the 40, like I'm like cool with it. He knows Steichen was a head coach in the past, worked with him in the past, so I'd prefer continuity as Steichen does. But if these blitzes can be more trusted with our defensive line being in the right spots due to the coaching at a perceived improvement, then we can kind of take more risks there. But we do have to get corners shored up before we do that too. So it may not just be on Gus Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
But let's get to.
No. I'm not blaming him at all, dude. At first I was. You see me. I tweeted a lot, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm not gonna lie behind it. I do tweet a lot about him,
Right?
Because he gets on my fucking nerves. But he do got the right players. Like he do got the right players.
Wait,
he just needs to learn how to use them.
You think our secondary is the right players? You think not having a number one edge is the right players or this secondary?
No.
This secondary is horrible.
You gotta listen to understand the
Hold on.
electionary
All right. All
process.
right.
Yeah, but you
Let's
Listen,
take. Let's
we
table
had
this.
the
Let's
right
table this. Let's
talent.
get to Augustine. Augustine's
Yeah,
been
yeah, yeah.
patient, and then John.
Yeah, yeah. Go
Augustine,
ahead,
then John, and
Augustine.
we'll
I'm
we'll
muting
get back to
myself.
this discussion. It is a good one. Augustine, go ahead, man.
Yeah. Look, I think that what we're talking right now about the biggest weakness right now on the Colts will be on the defense, and I think specifically on the cornerback group. Uh, uh, so I know that many people have talked of getting that fixed through the free agency, but I just wanted to know, since the free agency starts, I think a couple weeks before the draft, what will happen in the scenario that for some reason we are not able to address, getting that lockdown corner through um, through free agency. Would that change the approach of of the draft, given the fact that, as we know, even Undisputed had mentioned it, just mentioned it a couple moments ago, that the weakest link of the Colts is the cornerback group. Would that change the approach on the first round of what player will the Colts take if they're not able to address cornerback through free agency?
Ah, man. I hope not, but it
Yes,
probably would. Yeah. I mean,
it could.
and I think reaching for Kool Aid McKinstry, it'd probably be like a 5 to 10, pick reach from everything I've seen. Again, it's early combine interviews, the draft itself to play out, but to me, you don't leave the corner back up for chance. Like you Ballard is not that great at drafting corners. Obviously, Juju Brents has shown some highlights, but we got to go back to Quincy, some of the lower end guys, some of the lower end finds he's had. The better ones have come as undrafted free agents, honestly. But you have to shore up corner before yeah,
Daryl
Daryl
Baker.
Baker, the goat, um, and then go from there. But yeah, it does change the draft, but I just don't see them taking a corner in the first round. Like maybe it's Kool Aid McKinstry at 15 if there's like no
No,
other option, but I'd be
I
kind
know
of
what you say,
disappointed.
because, but we have, in my line of work, I have to like go through the worst case scenario on things. So the thing is, like, we know that Indianapolis is not like a prime destination for free agents. I think we can all can agree on that. So there might be, these Jalen Johnsons and Sneeds of the world, uh, uh, not thinking probably at first going into Indianapolis. Even I think probably no matter how much money would Ballard would put, but we have to say that we have like strong competition with other cities for getting this free agent. So I'm just put the question just to see the worst case scenario, that if we're not able to address cornerback on the free agency, and that's our weakest link on the defense, and it was proven time and time during this past season. How then the draft will have been approached?
Yeah, no, it's a
I
great
don't think
point.
it would
Hold on,
still change.
undisputed. We'll
Oh,
we'll get to John after Augustine, and then go around. It's a good point. Like again, a lot of Colts fans, myself included, are kind of just like the obvious need is corner. It has to be addressed in free agency. Realistically, do we get a Snead? Do we get the Bears guy? I hate to say it, probably not, because Ballard's not going to spend, and if he does, like, well, he might spend, but if he does, like, yes, you're right. Like, if the contract's close and it's either stay in Kansas City, which is unlikely, but go to Miami, go to Texas, Dallas or something like that. They don't really have money too. I don't really know who has money and who doesn't, but examples like that where it is kind of head to head. Yeah, it does suck. We're gonna lose out. I'm saying you have to go for the fucking home run, baby. Like it's now, Ballard. Like it's time. go overpay him. Like, I know you're sit back and wait, see how the chips fall guy. That was a terrible ballot. That was more of like a, I don't really know what accent that was, but see how the chips fall. We like him. We like his traits. That's kind of better. But in going back to it, like, you got to get the corner. You got to get the corner. So even if it's like a 10 million annual guy and you're not hitting that 20 million, something has to be done. I appreciate what you're saying, doomsday scenario. I don't know. Then we have a lot to bitch about as a fan base, because doomsday scenario to me is all the edges you want are gone. Verse, Latu, whoever else I don't know. Bowers is gone, and you're looking at a tier 2, still okay, wide receiver in the 15 range, or he's going to trade down and try and get more picks, which I don't know. He's good enough at some of these gem second rounders, but at this point, we need to be in the business of getting home run hitters. Appreciate that, Augustine. John, let's go to John since he's had his hand up for a while. Great Colts report. Go follow him if you don't already. What are you doing? Go to Instagram too. One of the best already on Colts Instagram for sure. John, what's up? If you want to briefly touch on the point of the doomsday scenario, and then you can bring up whatever topic is yours. Doomsday scenario being not signing a corner, not having all of our needs going into the draft still open.
Appreciate that shout out, man. But I definitely have a few thoughts on everything said so far, so I'll just kind of touch on everything I can kind of remember.
Sure, floor's yours, man.
Doomsday scenario about trading back. I have to say, I don't know. I think I'm one of the bigger Chris Ballard apologists in the world. I don't dislike his tact at all. I think he's been dealt one of the worst hands in the league, and I think he's managed, despite flaws, as of literally any executive, I think he's managed to put out consistently one of, this might come as a hot take, a deeper roster than you'd expect given every circumstance. Or the defensive side of the ball, as much as I love, I mean, we can point to cornerback as a giant hole. We can say we like the guys on our defensive line. We like our linebackers. Both Zaire Franklin and EJ Speed, no one talks about this, are both on the last years of their contract to become unrestricted free agents. And while paying Zaire is probably going to be the bigger likelihood, and if he demands top 3 money, that might come to a standstill as well. EJ Speed, I could see us keeping around if we were to let Zaire go and go to get like a Bobby Okereke type contract. But I love those guys. Are either of them playmakers? And I know we were spoiled with Shaq, and I know Leonard was fantastic. And I just think it's really, really difficult to find a playmaker, like a Fred Warner type thing. But on day 2, I will not be mad if we were to take a linebacker of sorts, or just someone who's going to be around the football a lot more than a cornerback. And I know cornerbacks can be playmakers. I'd point to a safety as a bigger need than cornerback, undebatably, in my opinion. I like Cross. I've been hired on Cross. Blackman's a free agent. Cross didn't have a good end of the year when he finally started getting starter reps. I believe in him. Rodney Thomas had a really shaky year. Then we get to corner and the talk of signing someone like Ladarius Sneed. And I think that I won't be disappointed in any regard if we were to not make a move like that. If we were to look back on big money cornerback contracts that were not homegrown, like Sauce Gardner's going to get paid, and it's going to be the Jets are keeping their Jarrell Revis. Like, did Jarrell Revis hit free agency until the end of his prime? Until he was kind of consistent? He didn't. Like, you draft homegrown guys, which Ballard's all about, and when they're that guy, you keep them around forever, like we should have with Leonard, until, of course, in typical Colts fashion, we got the worst of injury luck with him. I like Brent. I like how long he is. I like his physicality. I don't think he played poorly. I like Jones. I think he's going to be exactly like Rocky Sin in 2 years. And kill me, but Rocky Sin was arguably a top-tier cornerback to arguably a good starter cornerback. I'm all for Bowers. I'm all for, honestly, best player available. And regarding pass rush and like top edge rusher and Gus Bradley, I've been anti Gus Bradley all season. Definitely got really impatient at times. I mean, it took, like we were talking about Minshew knowing our defense, it took a rookie CJ Stroud that is as inaccurate as you want it, had that terrible cognition test. He, in the second half of that Week 2 Houston game, it like clicked. He was like, oh, it's like they're playing a a practice coverage where they don't make any adaptations whatsoever, and it's just stubborn, and it's the same way.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
it's
you.
stubborn, and it's almost old man type ignorant. The guy plays favorites. No one can explain to me to this day why Brandon Facyson got the amount of reps over Isaiah Rodgers last year, 2 years ago, whenever it was. There's no reason Facyson played as much as he did, and Isaiah Rodgers was not in the game more as a consistent starter cornerback. It pisses me off. However, I have been on the more analytical, like Zach Hicks type side of Twitter, and I've seen the fair arguments in favor of Gus Bradley. Despite a weak secondary, despite no elite pass rusher, you have DeForest Buckner, not really an edge or anything. Our defense is still putting out consistently, and I get the only thing I dislike is there's a kind of a sliver of cowardliness where, excuse me, he knows he doesn't have the giant playmakers in the secondary. He knows he doesn't have the giant playmakers in edge, and so for that reason, he doesn't take any risks. Like it's almost like he plays. My dad calls it prevent to win defense, like prevent defense, but it's prevent to win. Like you're sitting there waiting for them to beat you, hoping they don't beat you, hoping they mess up and shoot themselves in the foot. But when they don't, and they sit there and take the 5-yard flat route that is for something, I can't remember what game it is. I think it might have been Atlanta. How many times did they throw a pass in the flat out to a running back? And it was just nobody was within a fucking football. Like it was mind blowing how stubborn Bradley was that he wouldn't press the line against fucking Taylor Heineke. Like I don't know. And I think they went to Bradley. I think they said you need to make some changes to your defensive staff, and I think that's what he's doing. And I love the hire of Partridge. I'm all about it, but I think he's on a shorter leash. And we've talked about. I think Cole mentioned that obviously you kind of are more on the side of Gus Bradley. He knows Steichen. He coached with Steichen before, but again, he's not Steichen's pick. Like Frank Reich loved Matt Eberfluss, and he was a cool dude. I was never the biggest fan of him, and we got lucky he went and got a head coaching job somewhere. We've had back-to-back defensive coordinators that our head coach hasn't hired, and we talk about consistency. I don't think Shane would have went and hired Gus Bradley as a defensive coordinator if he were to be able to have options. I bet he would have went and hired some 37-year-old savvy, ingenuity, addicted to football type guy that does nothing but adapt all game, just like himself. And I honestly was rooting for him to be fired this offseason so we could see that because we trust Steichen so much and we're so confident in him. We should let him run his magic. I think Gus Bradley is a shorter leash next season. And as I hope we go 15-2 and win the Super Bowl, I don't want to root it for him being fired because I don't want it to come to that point. It's going to eventually happen. And I feel like it's definitely coming to that point. But to loop back around to the nightmare scenario. I don't think we should make a big splash at cornerback. The top thing that comes to mind, I know Snead's been locked down all season, is Tremaine Johnson. Rams went and signed a giant, almost like $180 million deal with the Jets. I think it was in like 2017, and he was out of the league in 2 years. Big corners who get paid scare me. Real good corners don't hit the market. It's just like the top 3 receivers in this year's free agency class. None of them are going to see the market. Pittman's not going to see the market because he's so good. No team's going to get the opportunity to sign him unless there's kind of fuel for that. Kool-Aid doesn't strike me as a Ballard guy. I have I know it might be 7 years in. I have full confidence in Ballard that if he wants to build this team deep with 11 draft picks this year, with the money to pay 11 draft picks, he doesn't make a giant signing. If we get another Samson Ebukam-like signing, but for the secondary, I'd love to go add 2 or 3 veteran, kind of proven, middle tier that has the ability to go and become a middle-ish of the pack cornerback, and then we add deeper in the draft. I'm all for it. I'll take 4 B+ to B cornerbacks than 1 A- and 3 C+. Like I don't know. I guess it's a bad analogy, but I would just prefer.
No, I agree completely.
I appreciate you. I'm really confident, and I've always. I'm 18 right now, and I know that's young, but I was 2018 when we drafted Leonard, and I think I was 13 or 12, and I got so pissed that with the 35th, 34th pick, we took some no-name bum out of South Carolina State, and it was nobody on like the top 5 Bell Kiper big boards, and I was so excited for day 2, and then we pick Darius Leonard that no one had heard about. I threw my phone across the room and I teared up because of how frustrated I was with Ballard. When we drafted Jonathan Taylor, I was so mad we were replacing one of my favorite players in Marlon Mack. Time and time again, I've sat there and I've gotten mad at free agency. I've gotten mad at the conservative draft approach. And at the end of the day, there's maybe one or two positions that are more thin than the rest of the team. And if you go to any fan base across the league, they will point you to an area of their roster that they think was pathetically built, too thin, needs a super large amount of additions in the offseason, unless they win the Super Bowl like the Niners. The fact of the matter is that we have the same problems that a large majority of the NFL has, but we've been so spoiled with our only problems outside of quarterback, which is honestly something we can't really do anything about. And Ballard's, outside of Matt Ryan, Ballard's done great with. There's not much we can complain about other than the typical go-to, like, oh, we should have had a couple more guys at this position. And man, like, we're a couple flags away from 10 wins. I know we're getting the ball in overtime against the Rams away from 11 wins with Gardner fucking Minshew. Like, I'm going to stop ranting, but I think we're so close. I think we're so on the cusp. I'm so excited to the deep ball to a guy like Alec Pierce, which everyone's giving up on. I don't know. I really have complete trust in Steichen. I feel like Steichen and Ballard are going to be fantastic. I'm not really worried, and I'm really excited with this team going forward. So thank you guys for listening.
No, that's very well put. Colts Report, a lot of great analysis there. Yeah, I mean, interesting takes across the board. Kind of the status quo of what Ballard does. Best of getting the money to work and getting good solid starters. I think this space and the cast of crazy characters who are on it routinely, myself included, are really looking for the home run type of player to be a difference maker, whether it be at 15, whether it be blowing the bank out for a corner, something we haven't done in the past. I think it would make us just see that he's doing it differently, and it's a different perspective you have being younger, and he has found these gems of guys routinely, but the wins of yesteryear for us, long time supporters at this point, it's getting a little tiresome to kind of pick the guys who have the traits to develop but never seem to develop as the elite team needs. We need one clarifying point for you, Colts Report. Again, great. Go follow him on Instagram too. Great Twitter. I think first time on the show, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. I've joined a couple Colt spaces before, maybe like 2 or 3, but I appreciate you having this. This is awesome, man. I've been brainstorming about like doing like a podcast or something. Like this is an awesome way to get out to your fans and a bunch of other Colts fans. I mean, I live in Virginia.
Yeah.
So I don't
Cole. I fucking told you, Cole. I told
it's
you.
It's crazy,
dude.
man.
Yeah. No, that's why we do this. A lot of us, some of us are blessed to be in the Indiana area and have, people we can talk to about it, but nobody gets in the weeds like Twitter space Colts fans.
Oh,
like,
man.
I love it.
All I got's my dad. That's all I got to talk about Anthony Richardson,
Yeah.
man. It's painful. I love him, but that's all I got.
Hey,
So.
welcome every Wednesday at 8:30, man. We'd love to have you back.
I appreciate it,
but
man.
yeah, stick around. Any of these points, we'll get to some hands here. One clarifying point: Eberflus was a McDaniels guy, not Reich's guy. So if you remember,
yeah, that's what I was trying to say. I was trying to say like we back-to-back coordinators that weren't our head coach's picks.
Right.
I knew that. I knew that. I'm not that young.
No,
I'm not that young.
Good. Yeah. Now talk about throwing your phone across the room. That McDaniels. I knew he would. Oh, I knew he was gonna fuck us. But anyway, appreciate it, John. Please chime in if anything strikes your fancy. I think Undisputed was next. Then we'll go Braden Augustine. Undisputed, go ahead. Hand up. A lot of points covered. Feel free to take it any direction you want.
Yeah, it's not. I'll keep it as simple as possible. But like, I mean, I'm just always going to go insane anytime I hear bargain bin Ballard approach being defended. It's been the same approach for like this is year 8 off season, and it's never worked. It's never panned out into anything other than mid teams. If you don't sign one of the good corners, it's just you can't just have these day 2 and day 3 guys out there, that have less than 2 years in the league and think that you're going to be a serious team. It's no one going across the league. No one has our secondary. Had we not played the Eagle or the Patriots and the Panthers, I mean, we had the 25th ranked defense. Majority of it because of our secondary and because of our especially pass rush in certain situations. We don't have a consistent pass rush, and like if we don't go out and finally go get a playmaker at corner, get a proven one to add to these younger guys, to like let Juju, Juju, he played solid. Is he a number one right now? Because that's what as of right now, he's your number one. And if anyone thinks that he's a number one right now, I like go get a Jalen Johnson or a Snead. And if we don't, Chris Ballard has to take. Now, I don't know if he has to take it in the first. There is like, I know Cole, you said Kool-Aid. I don't even Kool-Aid's not even the best corner on his own team right now. But there is about 6 guys. Let's see. Arnold, there's DeJane, there's Kool-Aid, there's Wiggins, and then there's like two, maybe 2, 3 more. It's going to be by the second round, you're going to have to take another corner. You can't do this bargain bin bullshit. And like when it comes to free agents, just wanting to get, not just at the corner position, but just wanting to get these guys that don't move the needle at all. If you're always trading down and always trying to rely on day 3 picks and always trying to rely on these average to average at best free agent signings, how do you expect to go anywhere? Steichen can't do it all. He's good, of course, but like you can't just. I mean, I know it's he's bargain bin Ballard for a reason, but this approach has not worked, and we're in year 8, so I don't know how you can continue that. Like, yeah, that's all I got to say.
Yeah, appreciate it, Undisputed. I think Brandon's hand was up next. Then we got Augustine and Antoine.
Yeah, just on the whole Gus Bradley thing. I mean I'm kind of back and forth with him because there's been bright spots. There's been a lot of good, a lot of bad, but it's just painful to watch our defense. If you watch this season, it was just like it's just like watching paint dry. You're just watching the team run down the field and score almost every time. Wasn't a whole lot of turnover action or big plays this year compared to previous years. And Ballard, like everyone's saying, oh, Ballard, 8 years. Like, yeah, he's been a GM for 8 years for us, but Andrew Luck retired literally when he was coming in, basically. Like, he had to rebuild the whole team from scratch. So I don't want to put it all on him. I know the time, it's 8 years, a long time. But you got to hold coaching accountable as well. I mean, we haven't had the greatest coaches in the world. I mean, Frank Reich was just awful. I mean, he made our team look worse than what they actually were. I think we had better teams than what showed, but the dude he would the play calling, it was just awful every game. I'm just like, what are you doing? I could pull up a Madden game and coach better than this. Like, I don't know. I don't know how you're putting it on him. He drafted Quentin Nelson, Darius Leonard, Jonathan Taylor, all the guys you see outside of the Colts stadium on the banners. He drafted them. Like, it's not like he's just missing every year. Every year he's getting good name players, like big
Just
playmakers.
real quick, they put current players out on the stadium, so it's always going to be guys
Yeah, but those
that
are
have been
those are the
drafted by.
best. Those are the best players on the team, all pros. Like Quentin Nelson, all pro. Jonathan Taylor, one of the best running backs in the league. I mean, if it wasn't for injury, he would be the best. Like, how are you? He's picking the players. He's not coaching the team.
Yeah,
Like, he has
The emphasis
nothing.
is on homegrown. Like, it's the fact that Ballard drafted 3 of 4. Like, Buckner, I understand, and also like a very bold move. But
Cole, you sound
it's all
far away.
Ballard, homegrowing players, scouting players. Like, he deserves so much more ever than what's given credit for.
Cole, you sound far away. We
No,
can't hear
sorry.
you.
What wasn't trying to interrupt. But I will say we do
Delusional.
have Derek Larger on here of Bring the Juice podcast. We're kind enough to request to speak. Derek, we're kind of just talking new coaching hire. Obviously, you heard a little bit about the defensive scheme. Excited about the new D-line coach. It seems to be more blitz heavy, maybe get the right guys in where we are able to pressure the quarterback when it matters a little more on the third downs. What are your takes on that? And then feel free to take it any direction you want. Again, go check out Derek. If you don't follow Derek, I don't know what you're doing. What's up, man?
I appreciate you, Cole. Yeah, I mean, I just got in here just a few minutes ago, so I'm catching up to speed on the conversation for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for the coaching hire that we just had. I mean, it really definitely is a great thing to have one of the most respected names of college football to join your staff. I mean, all the accolades that he's had, and taking a team like Pitt, who has consistently shown up with even some of the greatest college football programs every single year, and having a chance to show what they can actually do every single year with sack production. I mean, it's just exactly what Indy needs to try to find some better ways to be able to utilize these defensive linemen, where you have a bunch of really good guys out there. You don't really have a lot of elite players. I think we can all sit here and say that, DeForest Buckner is probably the only guy out there that's really elite. But he gets double teamed so frequently, it's kind of hard sometimes for him to be able to take over and really influence the game as much as we wish he would, just simply due to the fact that, he's had all this time where he's getting double teamed, and that's how it works for them. But, if you can get someone like Ebu Kam or Dio Dangbo or Kwity Paye to, be able to buy into a system and help utilize their power and their strength a little bit better, then, it definitely helps this defensive line moving forward to get a little bit more consistent pressure, which, I mean, we definitely need because, with Gus Bradley in this defensive scheme, regardless of whether or not this hire happens, it's probably not going to change the fact that Gus Bradley still probably is never going to blitz. And at the end of the day, you still got to just try to find a way to get the best out of your front four that you can. And ultimately, I think that's what this hire does. And I love it, man.
Appreciate it, Derek. One quick question for you, and we'll get back to the hands. Colts Report just had a good mini rant about, the way to address the offseason. Obviously, the glaring needs are corner, hand in the ground, third down, get to the quarterback, pass rusher, and then at 15, if you address those, what kind of opens up for you? We've also been talking doomsday scenario, like if the Latu's gone, if a Verse is gone, if Bowers is gone, what do you do there? So curious your thoughts. Is it as obvious as go sign a corner, no matter really who it is? Obviously, we prefer to break the bank, fill all the holes, and then go into the draft. And then also for you, who is kind of the late first round? Like if all of the guys that we want aren't there at 15, are you looking to maybe reach to some people to get, but we kind of have to do it?
Yeah, it's definitely going to come down to what free agency you do. I've been big on the hype train of Ballard should be looking to sign a free agent safety. I don't care who it is. But there's a long, long list of safeties in this group that can run a Gus Bradley system and can run it better than Rodney Thomas or what Nick Cross is doing right now. And of course,
Oh my God! Thank you,
I would
dude. Thank you.
love to be able to get a veteran elite edge rusher, but I highly doubt that ever happens. I've kind of been on the Brian Burns train, but that's a discussion for another time. I highly doubt that would even be a thing. You'd probably have to trade for that anyways, which I'd be for if the package is right. But I would love to be able to attack the corner or the free agent safety depth in free agency, because then in that draft, you can just go and get weapons. I don't care who it is. Like you said, it's all going to depend on how many players get taken early in the draft for the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, it's going to definitely be about, does Adunzen go early? Does Neighbors go extremely early? Does Brock Bowers fall? Does a couple of these other guys go? As far as the cornerback room is concerned, there is a lot of corners that I have a strong feeling will be there at 15. My guess is, to be honest, I could see a situation where Ballard does trade back a few draft picks, maybe acquiring, a couple of thirds to go along with it, and, feeling confident in being able to get a guy like a Cooper DeJean or the cornerback out of Toledo. I'm blanking on his name right now, but there's a lot of different guys there that I think Ballard could see to where they'd feel confident in moving back, only if they feel confident in where they're moving to. They're still going to be able to get their player. There's a lot of great. I'm starting to feel a little bit more excited about some of the opportunities that Indy can attack this in the draft and free agency versus what I was just a month ago.
Yeah, appreciate it, Derek. Yeah, it's kind of the fine line of like we want the home run that the can't miss prospect, the great free agent signing because we need that star-studded guy on the roster that it feels like we don't have the defensive playmaker. Obviously, since Shaq's injury, really, and yeah, trading down hurts to hear, but it's easily an option if it's the doomsday scenario that we were discussing. But appreciate it, Derek. We'll get to some hands. Feel free to chime in more here, but a lot of good speakers on here have had hands up. I think Augustine was next, and I see everybody else's hands. We'll go to Augustine up next.
Yeah, look, as much as I love the Colts, I think I have to be first objective and not let my fandom take ownership of my thoughts.
Well,
Um,
what's the fun
I
in
have
that,
been
Augustine?
hearing. No, yeah, I know, but I just try to be, I just
Sure. Yeah.
try to see it objectively. Andrew Luck retired in 2019. We are in 2024, 5 years after it, and we still have to wonder, or at least to question the moves that Ballard has done in order to address the quarterback position that at some point hasn't been enough for this team to get to the next level. Uh, uh, Even though I know you were talking about Ballard, picking Darius Leonard, picking Quentin Nelson, fine. Hey, that's great. Like, but do we really measure the success or of a general manager with the hits that they have on the draft, or do we measure it by how many times they go to the playoffs, or how many times they won the division championships, how many times they go to the Super Bowl? That's my question. And so far, like again, I like Ballard. I might agree with some of the move that he does. I criticize some of the move that he does. But at the same time, it's the thing like in 8 years, we only have gone twice to the playoffs. There's no divisional championships to show off. So at what point, at when do we start, you know, the accountability on Ballard? Because again, we still be talking about like he losing luck in 2019, and it's already been 5 years about that. So I think that now with he shows Anthony Richardson last year. I think that's his we can call it like the lottery
Yeah, I was
ticket
about to
to
say
see if
golden
he
ticket.
can,
Yeah.
yeah, his golden ticket to see if he's able to buy some time more as the Colts manager. But I think we need to start to make him accountable, because it's not only about what players he hits on the draft. It's about the results of the team at the end of the season. Just two playoffs appearance in 8 years. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah,
Preach,
it's
brother.
it's it's a good and fair point. We could argue year by year. I think the situation we're at now is a good one. And could you have gotten to it quicker with another GM? Who knows? Probably. Honestly, probably because a new GM would have been more prevalent to take a rookie quarterback after. But even if you look at the draft classes after Luck, like where our positions were, I know there's a lot of years that was like, well, if we could trade up, trade up. He should have traded up. He should have traded for Matt Stafford. Even Tom Brady was immediately shut down by Reich. As much as that disgusts people, should have overruled there. The Wentz thing, not completely on him, but he's the GM making the trade at the end of the day. And then Matt Ryan was an absolute cluster. But I think to kind of keep the conversation, moving ahead, just where we're at now, I'm fine with Ballard going forward. I was the most negative on Ballard of week 2. of Matt Ryan's year. That is the only time I really wanted Ballard fired, because I wanted, Jim Harbaugh to come in and have player control. But in the position we're in now, he gets his shot. Like, winning 9 games with this roster, and yes, you can say, it was Shane Steichen, but he was able to plug enough holes. We had a lot of injuries. JT, Pittman got hurt down the stretch. Like, obviously Richardson's down. He's the one who, yeah, probably with Steichen got Gardner, but we were able to win a lot of games with a roster that I don't think many people thought we could win, especially without a Richardson. The only reason I predicted 9 wins before the season was because I thought we'd have Richardson the whole time. But let's get to the speakers who haven't spoke yet. First, Echo, and then we'll go to Cindiana. Echo had your hand up. Go ahead. Thanks for coming back on the show. Feel free to take Augustine's point, Derek's point, Colts Report's point, whatever point you want to make. Echo, go ahead.
Thanks, Cole, for having me back on. It's great as always. I hope everyone can hear me. I'm
Yeah, sounds good, man.
at work, so I'm in my earbuds.
Appreciate that, man.
Hey, I'm working an overnight shift, so got to do something to keep myself awake. I think we're on Augustine just super quick, but I really want to talk about the defense moving forward. I understand that point about GMs have to be measured in the product and how they perform at the end of the day. But I disagree with it to a certain point, just because he can only pick the players. He can't control how the coaching staff uses them or doesn't use them, develops them or doesn't develop them. So I agree with it to a certain extent. Like, as much as I defend him, there needs to start being a little bit more accountability for him. But I don't think he's as bad as some people say. But talking about this defense, I'm not gonna lie. I was very much on the train of I wanted Gus Bradley gone when the season was over. I was like, all right, like let's Steichen go pick someone. Like I've really liked all his coaching hires. Like let's see him pick someone to run his defense. And to me, the fact that he said that he wanted to stick by Bradley, that spoke volumes to me, because I think if he truly felt that Bradley was as much of a liability as we and the fan base think, he would have been gone. But I also think we have to think a little bit about just how razor thin our secondary was. Like there were definite games where you could tell that Gus Bradley was coaching terrified. The Bengals game comes to mind. For me, that was a big one where you could tell he was just like, please don't let Jamar Chase and T. Higgins destroy our corners. So, but I personally don't think you can pick a corner in the upcoming draft in the first round to solve that. Another rookie corner isn't going to solve that unless they're like a Sauce Gardner type, and there's not going to be a Sauce Gardner type available at 15. So I think the way we solve that is we have to keep Kenny Moore first off. He's a top 3 slot corner in the league, and he rebounded this year perfectly. I think we have to go get a veteran corner on the outside. Let Juju Brent and Jalen Jones battle it out for CB3 or CB2, however you want to quantify it. But we have to get a veteran. We can't go into next season with another batch of young corners, because we saw how that worked this year. Chris Ballard said this was the year where they were going to let that happen, and we all saw how it worked out. There were games we lost because they were either miscommunications or they couldn't stick with receivers. And I like their upside going forward, but okay, now we've had our sort of rebuilding year, which is crazy to say, considering we had Gardner Minshew and we almost made the playoffs. Like now it's time to start kicking it into gear.
Agreed.
Yeah, good points there. I mean, again, I might be a little too lax on Gus Bradley. Sounds to be that way. I just kind of have hope that Steichen's going to reevaluate a little bit and tell him, because to me, Partridge, the Pitt D line coach, that to me screams a Steichen hire. I mean, yeah, he's not the young coordinator that's around, the Steichen kind of mantra of how he built his offensive staff, but defensively, I foresee the ingenuity of bringing in a D line coach with the exotic blitzes. Again, I'm only saying this because of Zach Hicks's article. I don't watch Pitt football. I watch Indiana football just because I somehow paid them a lot of money that I have to watch Indiana football. But I think it's going to be an improvement as far as the coaching scared. I don't know. I don't really like to put that label on guys in the NFL, but in terms of the powder puff off ball defense that pisses us all off week in and week out. Honestly, I've just become numb to it because Eberflus did the same thing. Like, it's not how I prefer to play football. It's not how I played high school football. Like, my coach was get in their face, blitz them. We're gonna get to the quarterback, stop the run. But it is what it is. So we got Cindiana up next. Had her hand up. New speaker, and then we'll get to Ray Love after Cindiana. Cindiana, thanks for coming back on. What's up?
I know a lot of people are going to have something to say about my voice, but I have COVID. It sucks ass. I know people talked about my voice previously before this, but coughing will do this to you. It sucks. But the only thing I wanted to say was there were people before talking shit about the Bring the Juice podcast, and I finally got Derek on here, and he spoke his truth and what he thought. But then the people that talked shit, once he finally got on here, went silent. And that's one thing that I can't
Hold
I
on.
take my turn.
Hold on.
is people that talk about stuff, but when someone's not present, but when they're finally present, they're silent. So I just want to say Derek deserves to defend himself, which he did. He talked his stuff, but the people that were talking shit should not be pussies and say something too. That's it. Don't get COVID. It fucking sucks.
Thanks, Indiana. Let me set the scene, and we can, I guess, hash this out if we want to, or if not, I'll leave the floor open to what people want to discuss. Undisputed did call, I think, Hicks and the Bring the Juice podcast, quote unquote, bozos, in regard to the Hurricane
You are
Dio.
Bozo.
Yeah, basically being too pro Dao Dangbo, Quiddy, the defensive line. I think that was kind of the context, but in general, I don't think it's a secret that Undisputed is, very controversial and unliked by a lot of the popular Colts podcasters. And my only stance is until something that gets said on my show that is egregiously terrible, everybody is welcome to come and speak, and I try and police it. Hands method, one-on-ones, group discussion as best I can. But yeah, if anybody wants to address that between Derek and Undisputed, feel free. But up to you guys.
I will. So yeah, I know I'm just wondering why I am being brought into it by someone who wanted to get a police report against me. But anyways, that'll be for another day. My thing has I don't know if for sure who, because no one would ever tell me whether it was
Hold
Derek or
on.
Cody.
Excuse me.
Hold on,
You don't
Undisputed.
have this on your
Hey,
script.
Hold on,
What was that?
Cindiana.
hold on.
Give.
Yeah, we'll save the semantics, bro. Listen, undisputed, man. You know what you do. Okay, you are one of those dudes that loves to troll people. You love to
It's
troll
not
the hell
trolling.
out of Cody and I. I
It's not
mean,
no no. You public.
Hold on.
we've had this discussions for over a year, bro. I live rent free in your head every day. It's okay. It's fine. I'm fine with it. At the end of the day, what you feel and what I feel towards you, it doesn't matter. I don't wake up every day wondering what you do with your life. Okay, so at the end of the day, it's all good, man. We're here to talk Colts football, and if you don't agree with anything that I say, that's fine. It's all good. I mean, a lot of Colts Twitter doesn't like what I say, and that's all good. But I mean, again, it's been the constant thing. I'm not saying I get plenty of people who constantly tell me what the stuff that you're saying. It's all good, dude. And at the end of the day, I have said it before. I hope that you succeed in whatever is going on in your life. But at the end of the day, just quit dragging people, man. We're here just to talk Colts football. That's it at the end of the day.
All right, let's go.
Okay,
Let's go
my issue.
Undisputed, and then back to Cindiana.
Yeah, so my issue, with the whole Bring the Juice thing was last summer when your guys' podcast account put a picture of my profile with a bunch of random burner accounts saying wild ass shit and posted that for however many thousands of people to where then it's I have to hear this nonstop. That's my issue. That's why you guys are trash. That's why
I'm
you guys are
sure that
bozos.
there's
Not just your
nobody that
football.
cares that you're linked
Not
with a
not
couple of different burners that nobody's ever seen before.
not just your shitty football takes, not just your shitty football takes that I predicted that some of the podcasters would make, this whole with the D line and everything. It's the fact that you publicly accused me, your podcast with an account of like 10,000 people of being burners that were saying actually trash shit, which when have
He
I
said
ever
that you
needed
were
a
late
burner?
to the same things, and you're
But
all saying the same things about Levis and about
dude,
Richardson and about
they were
football. Like that's it.
really
We didn't
trash. They
say,
were
"Oh,
really
you're a
trashy
trash
personal
human
attacks.
being." We just said that somebody said on the podcast that you were
Are
linked to
are
another burner account. So what?
are you really that? Do you really think we're that stupid? What you were doing? Do you really think that we're that dumb?
I mean, you can say it. I didn't say
Dude.
nothing.
All right, last
You
point,
guys know
last
what
point,
you were doing
undisputed,
there.
and
You
then
guys
back
knew
to
what you were doing
Indiana.
there.
Well, we do
That's
see
why
a
you guys are
lot
trash.
on the
Hold on,
burner
Ray Love.
juice.
Hold on, Ray Love.
So
Last point, undisputed, or let's get to Cindiana. Cindiana, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, I can go. We can go on any of the bad, takes from any of the
Sure, but bad,
shows
yeah,
or from
bad
the
That's
takes.
fine. I
NFL.
got a lot of bad
Right, yeah.
takes.
One thing at a time. Cindiana, go ahead, and then we'll hopefully move on to Colts topics.
we do get tired of the basement takes. That's all I'm saying.
I don't have much to say because I can barely talk. I've had COVID. It sucks. Don't get COVID. Wash your hands and take cough medicine. This shit sucks. Stay healthy. And just don't talk shit about people when they aren't present to defend themselves. That's trash and that's stupid.
Why now? See,
That's all I have.
why was I blocked?
Yeah,
Sin?
hold on, Ray Love. Hold on, Ray Love.
I like your takes.
One thing.
I blocked you because you came in my DMs trying to hit on me.
Fuck.
And the moment I confided
Whoa,
in
All right.
you sent my DMs to someone else. That's
whoa.
why.
I got the
Here's
I got
off
the
the
All right.
rails.
DMs. I got the
Hit
DMs to show that
on.
that's
off the
bullshit.
rails. All right. Well, 12 minutes more until 11:30 hits.
Let's
I'll be counting down the minutes. One thing at a time. Okay. Quick point. My spaces. Everybody gets a voice. I try and keep it as tame as I can. I personally feel like nobody has been outwardly attacked. To me, Derek and Hicks have heard, it from Undisputed would tweet at him. If you were to call him out for, hyping up Dio Dangbo and calling them bozos for that, that's one thing. If it were a personal attack, that's another. And to me, I do not see Undisputed have crossing that line on my show. In Twitter, I cannot police Twitter. I cannot police the content that types up, nor do I want to read all of Undisputed's fucking tweets. But if it happens on my show, I'll make sure that nobody, feels like they can't speak on here or get cuts off. And if I failed at that, I apologize. But if it doesn't come to that, I can't police outside of what happens on my show. I can't even police my comments on my show quick enough.
Derek, all I did say was bozos, listing off multiple podcasters. There was no massive I think what you did to me with the
This dude can talk
Bonkers.
however he wants to
That's
anyone.
fine. I've been
I
called
get cut
worse.
off,
It's okay.
yeah.
It's all
but
good.
he can talk however he wants
I will
all
say
the time.
I'll say it to
And
Derek.
the only person you cut off is me. This
You just cut
psycho
me off.
tweeted about me for months. Like, this shit is crazy. Get a fucking life,
It's wild that we
dude.
didn't have. It's wild that everything was normal in here for 3 weeks when you weren't here, and then you come back, and then it's chaos. But hey, 0 weeks without incident. We're back to zero, guys.
I thought this was
Because I tagged the person that you were talking shit about, and he finally
he's
called a different
the only
I will
thing.
say that to Derek anytime. I will argue with Derek anytime he wants. We can do a podcast, or we can do a space together, and me and him can debate takes all day long. I don't care. If bozos is the worst thing you've ever heard,
Has anyone ever told you that you sound like the dude from Polar Express that has glasses on?
Hey,
you do.
Sin, didn't you tell people that I would kill you, and that the cops would come and get them, and that I've called you 100 times when I have no clue who you are?
You stalked my
Don't
account
forget
for months,
racist
and
as
I
well.
guarantee you'll.
Yeah, and then I'm
I
racist.
guarantee
Yeah.
you'll
Okay.
tweet
All
about
right.
me
I want
Last
to talk
point.
Colts football
Last
now.
point, Cindiana, and we'll get to Brock and wrap it up here in 10 minutes. Cindiana, last point, and then we can get to Brock.
Crazy's gonna be crazy. That's all I got to say.
Ain't that true? And if you try and do a Twitter space show on Colts football, you get in the weeds of all this, I guess. So egg on my face as always, but appreciate everybody for chiming in.
It's
there.
not your phone, Cole.
Brock, long time caller. Brock, please talk Colts football. What's up, man? Thanks for coming back on.
Hey guys. So I was just on earlier listening. Turns out, my dog is sick and she's gonna have to be put down. And then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna come back onto Colts Space and it's gonna be, distracting and talk about sports. And then we're talking about some fucking stupid drama. And it kind of gives me perspective. Like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, this shit's not worth it. Let's just talk ball. Like, seriously. Like, let's just talk ball. If we call someone a bozo, it is what it is. Like, I don't think we'll lose sleep at night. Like, we'll all be fine. We'll grow up. Sometimes I take stuff too personal, but perspective today is like, guys, let's just keep it chill. And anyway, talking about the Colts, time for Chris Ballard to be aggressive. That's pretty much my mindset and what I talk about every time I'm in here. So I'm just gonna say that again.
Thanks, Brock. So sorry to hear that, and definitely prayers to you and your family. That's terrible. I can't imagine that. But to go along, with your point, like from my standpoint, if somebody were on another show, like I know I've been talked about. I mean, hell, Undisputed has Twitter Spaces after my Twitter Spaces called Colts Homer Fan Cole Reaction. Like I don't know what gets said in them. I don't really care. Like to me, all press is good press. Like as long as it's about my Colts takes and nothing about my personal life or anything, then so be it. If you want to call me an idiot, then so be it. And
Cole, you're my boy.
until I don't it doesn't bother me. But to the level of constant tweeting back and forth about personal issues, that's where I draw the line, and I want no part of it. So I try and host this show as best I can, and I bet Derek would agree too. Him, Hicks, all the Indy Star guys, Destin.
That's
It opens up to you open yourself up to criticism if you're a quote unquote Colts personality. That's just part of it. And as long as it doesn't get personal or annoying to the point where you're getting dragged through the mud constantly on all your platforms, and then you got to use the block button. So be it. But until then, I don't see an issue with criticizing critiques, and even calling people
Preach.
idiots. So I've done my fair share on Greg Doyle, all the time. He blocked me. Stephen Holder blocked me. Like I'm no saint, but I try and keep it as topical as I can
I
about
wish
the
I could
issues.
have that honor.
Yeah.
Who's been blocked by more podcasters
Getting
and
blocked
local
by
media guys,
Doyle.
Cole, me or you?
Well, probably you. Well, I don't know. We could name it. Let's get to Echo. Let's get to Echo. Hand up. We got about 5 minutes here on this eventful weekly Wednesday ColtsFanCole show. I'll cut it off right at 3 hours. But Echo, go ahead, and I got you Augustine after Echo, and we'll do some parting. Probably shouldn't call them parting shots at the end. Maybe round table. But Echo, go ahead.
I'm not touching that situation with the 10-foot pole. I'm going to more so take this back to Colts football, if that's okay.
It'd be welcome.
Um, but so something that I've been wondering, and I kind of want to gauge other people's reaction to this, or I don't know the right way to say it, but um, I've been seeing some people talking about like, oh well, we don't need really to pay Pittman, like we could try and get one of these other receivers. To me, I know Pittman's not a true number one. Like as much as I love him, he's a USC boy. Like that's where I grew up. But if we don't go get Pittman, I guess who would be the person that we'd want to take his role? Because he does a lot for our offense. Like he blocks hard. He's the guy that goes over the middle. He's great at yards after the catch. I guess if we don't resign him, is there someone that this space kind of feels that we should go after to take his role?
We can go to Augustine and answer that question. Sorry, go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's kind of difficult to suggest that he isn't a number one. I know the numbers have not been like elite top 10 numbers out there, but like, I mean, this dude's never had consistency at the quarterback position. And now he's in a position where he has a head coach who runs a system where even if he's the number one guy when it comes to targets, he's not going to get the numbers that a Stephon Diggs or a AJ Brown or a Devontae Adams is going to get because they run their system through them. Even if Michael Pittman is the number one guy, they'll never run the system through Michael Pittman. It's just going to be too sporadic. It's too spread out. I just don't know if I can definitively put the anchor down to say he's not your true number one wide receiver. And as far as who to replace him with, I mean, I just think it's unless you're getting a top 15 wide receiver in the league, I mean, there's virtually no reason as to why you wouldn't just re-sign Pittman. That's my opinion.
Good job, Derek. You didn't have a bozo take that time. I'm proud of you.
Jesus.
Very correct.
All right, let's
No, I'm saying he's right.
let's
I'm like
let's
literally
go
agreeing with him.
to yeah, but it's the antagonizing. Like you don't need the jab every time. Like you can
Listen.
just
I'm
be on mute. Like agree with his take, thumbs up emoji. Like
all right.
let's
My
little
bad. My bad.
kumbaya.
My
3 minutes
bad.
left. 3 minutes left.
I
All
tried.
right, Augustine, what's up, man?
Hey, to the point of Michael Pittman, I repeat what I said before. I don't think we don't have to worry much about Pittman leaving the Colts at all. I don't think Ballard will be crazy enough to let him walk. The worst case, I think he will play under the franchise tag, and during the season, probably be able to agree to an extension. And well, I just wanted to say, I just wanted to commend you, Cole, to keep your cool during all this chaos, and here me looking outside from all the way from here in Panama in Central America. I'm like, I don't know, like 8,000 kilometers away or something like that. It's really good to talk about ball, about Colts, um, different takes. Sometimes I might not agree with Undisputed. Sometimes I will do. But at the same time, I try not to take things personally, and it's always good to listen to different point of views, even though I might not agree with it or not. It's always good to see different points of view.
Very well said, Augustine. Always appreciate your comments on here as well. And yeah, couldn't agree more. Ray Love, go ahead. I know you've been chomping at the bit a little bit to get in here.
I just want to leave it with this closing here. Guys, let's not always be so, let me use the word, so sensitive to things others are saying. Some of us in the world, you got to learn how to deal with all different types of people. Some people may be assholes. Some people may be respectful guys. Some guys may have limited vocabulary, so they may use words like bozo. So you just got to learn how to deal with things, and not take everything so serious. So guys, let's have a good kind heart, even kill spirit, and realize words are words, opinions are opinions, and most times it's never personal or any attack on anyone or their life. So you just got to learn how to take people in, and sometimes, just like you, Cole, you got to learn how to put people on mute, and or block them if you don't want to see the things that they're putting out. And move on and not let this be personal attacks or anything. But we're all banded together. We're all a unity. We all bleed blue. We all want to see this team get to the promised land. And let's remember, guys, that's the only goal of ours. And watch Chris Ballard succeed, as we all know that he is. So let's keep the main thing, and focus on what we all want. And that's bringing that Lombardi back to Indy, baby.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, Ray Love. Well, in a show of wild cards, why not? We got Crumpus on, first time caller, I believe, content, Twitch creator, Crumpus Gaming. Crumpus, I guess, are you a Colts fan? What's up?
Oh, you know it,
All
dude.
right.
I am big time Colts fan. Always have been since I was a little kid. Growing up watching Peyton, growing up, watching Andrew Luck. It's just how it is. Best team out there. Just got to say that. And
Oh, yeah.
then obviously AR is going to take us to the bowl next year, 2024. Watch out. So I'm just saying, he might have some up and
I like
downs. He's
this
got some
guy.
injury concerns. He's got, some lingering issues, but he's young, dude. He's so young. Okay, we're talking like 21 years old. He barely just got his driver's license and everything. Like he's young, dude. So like he's hungry. He's gonna be in this league a long time. Like he's gonna play his ass off. Um, may even be the best quarterback in the division if he can contain with Stroud. I mean, I love Stroud, okay, but I'm not on him like everybody else is. I think they didn't get to see enough of what AR is, and I mean 2024 is just going to show everything that kid is. I mean he's just different. He is absolutely different. Something we haven't had since Andrew Luck, and he's not Andrew Luck, but he's got the more athletic ability than Andrew Luck ever had. But I'm going to tell you this right now. All I got to say is appreciate you having me on, and I'm not trying to interrupt you guys or anything like that, but go Colts. We're going to win it all.
No, appreciate it, Crumpus. If I was only hesitant to bring you on because I there's been similar like Twitch people, and then they just like use their soundboard behind my chat before I like let them on to talk. So I'm always wary who gets on here, but
No, no.
appreciate you're one of the good ones, Crumpus. Just hit you with a follow. You're welcome back anytime on here.
Oh, for sure.
Let's get to Undisputed as the last hand, and then kind of wrap up here.
All right, yeah. So, it was good space. Oh, okay. The problem's gone anyway. So yeah, I'll probably do yes. If anyone thinks the that it's me shit talking Cole with the Colts Homer Cole, it's a joke. It's a joke between us. But I'm going to do a space afterwards. Derek, you could even come if you want to, buddy. If you want to come debate some Colts talk. Yeah, Ray, we still have some questions for you, buddy. Um, what else? Oh, the other thing I want to say is there was a topic today. Now everyone knows I'm a Chicago guy, being in the northern part of Indiana, not southern. But everyone was saying Augustine, I think, made the point that free agents don't want to go to Indianapolis. But today I was hearing there's a lot of Colts Twitter talk on Indianapolis being the best city. Such a great city. So I'm just wondering where the miss is there. But other than that, yeah, I'm gonna fire up a space. Oh wait, Drake's here. What up, Drake? Drake, I didn't call you a bozo, by the way. But yeah, that's about it.
Thanks, Undisputed. Yeah, I guess in closing, yeah, crazy one, but happy that we rounded out our coaching staff. I like Tanney, man. I think that's a good hire. Obviously, the D line coach is going to be front and center, which he should be, and Tanney's just the offensive quality control or whatever title they give him. But being the quarterbacks coach under Shane Steichen, that's here or the being in the room. He wasn't the quarterbacks coach under. He got promoted to quarterbacks coach under Brian Johnson for the Eagles, but a guy who was in the room going to the Super Bowl, making Jalen Hurts an athletic type, mobile quarterback. Fun times to have him scheme. Any addition there, I'm really happy with, and I'm even more happy that he spent a month with the Colts in 2015. That's what it's all about. Hard to find that picture again. Please like that tweet. That took me 30 minutes to find an Alex Tanney Colts practice photo from 2015. So I do it to please myself, but I do it for the people as well. Reminder that Justin Hamilton, the assistant DB's coach, got hired as well. Good name there, was with Tennessee too. Curious what he can bring, and obviously the headline is going to be the D-line coach from this week, Charlie Partridge, who really helped develop J.J. Watt, Trey Flowers, Wise Jr., and Trey Hendrickson too. Lastly, Jim Irsay on the mend. Great to hear that tweeted from Jim Irsay himself. Pro Bowl, Gardner. I'm team re-sign him if it's under $5 million, but we'll go from there. And Steichen firing up at the Pacers. Colts jerseys earn a dishonorable mention at the Fashion NFL Twitter account, and Malky Kawa and Chris Ballard hanging out at the Senior Bowl. What a crazy world that is. So what a crazy Twitter space, but hopefully we got some sort of understanding on what I do, what I try and do on here. And please feel free to send me a DM if there's anything you think I can improve on in any of this. I try and keep it Colts football as much as I can. Again, prayers to you, Brock. Terrible situation, man. Hope all goes as well as you can. And I'll be here every Wednesday. Look, I'm not shying away. Anybody wants to come on here and talk about whatever. Hopefully it's more Colts centric going forward, then so be it. But to me, if you want to criticize me for any of my takes, so be it. Even dipping into personal insults, I can take it. It's just kind of the game when you're a Colts content creator, in my opinion. But here we are. So appreciate it, everybody. I'll see you next Wednesday at 8:30. Just a reminder, go visit Rose Ink Official on Instagram to get your fine line tattoos. Just a half hour northwest of Indianapolis in Lebanon, Indiana. Tattoos start at just $120. You can get the year-round horseshoe tattoo for just $50. Say Colts fan Cole sent you for $10 off your next service. Anita B. Beauty LLC's wing of tattooing is Rose Ink. Her other wing is Rose Ink PMU. That is permanent makeup, eyeliner, eyebrows for the misses in your life. Get them a gift card to help make ColtsFanCole Christmases that much more special. That is Anita B. Beauty LLC in the Google machine, Rose Ink on the Instagram. Thanks everybody for joining. We'll see you next Wednesday at 8:30 and every Wednesday at 8:30 until I can do the post game and halftime shows again. Oh, I can't wait. So long, but we have to get through the off season first, which is still fun to talk about, but in my mind, nowhere near as fun as talking about games. But appreciate everybody for coming on. All the first times, a lot of first times here too. Can't say thank you enough, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 8:30.